Why, hello everyone. Good evening. It's Comic Artist Pro Secrets, and I'm Ethan Van Sciver, 27-year veteran of the comic book industry, world's most charming, elegant, eloquent, and yet humble man. Great big Star Wars fan, trusted member of the media. Hi, I'm going to wait for some more people to get in here because they're according to StreamYards, there are 0 people watching right now. Oh, now there's 68. Suddenly 68 people show up all at once. Amazing. That's fascinating how this happens. We got, and here's Zack. Let's get Zack in here. Zack, we've only got 68 people watching right now.
How did that happen?
I don't know. That's just the way it goes. But it looks like the chat is roaring. There's something about StreamYards where like it goes from 0. Now it's 279. It just gives you big chunks of viewers, and you're not sure when you should start talking about the important stuff. Because you're not sure if enough people are watching yet. People come in slowly. They kind of work their way in. How was your day?
Good. I was very fired up. I registered to vote.
All right. So this is a whole thing where like there are all these websites right now that say register to vote or are you already registered? And I went through the exact same thing that you went through. Like I panicked a little bit. Like, am I registered? Now, were you not registered? Did you find out?
Yeah, I wasn't. Although it gets a little unclear because, like, I voted 4 years ago. Oh wait, no, I was a California resident back then. So yeah, I thought it was. I got a brain. I lost my Texas driver's license went inactive when I got a California one. I came back. I had to get a whole new one, and I swore they did that motor voter thing, but apparently not. It was very easy to register. I brought like my birth certificate, like everything. All you needed was a driver's license. It was 5 minutes in and out, and that includes filling out the form because I didn't even have the form. And I asked some questions too.
Yeah, like I don't remember really registering officially before. I just, they asked me when I got my driver's license in New Jersey. They said, "What are you? What political affiliation?" And I said, "Dirty communist." And then they put that on my driver's license, dirty communist. But that apparently registered me to vote. So I showed up at the polling place, and they're like, "Yeah, here you are, listed. So go ahead and vote for the communist." I just wanted to fit in, Zach. I live in New Jersey. I didn't want to, you know what I mean? So everyone here's a dirty communist. But in any case, yeah, you get worried about it. It's like, am I still registered? Andrea looked into it today, and she said that I was registered. Everyone is like, everyone I know is fired up to vote. We cannot wait to vote. So
I'm way more excited than last time, and I was really excited last time.
Yeah. Last time we didn't think that we just did it because that's what you do. But it's like this time, it seems like, I don't know. I didn't believe my candidate was going to win last time. I just didn't believe that. I thought I was pulling the lever out of duty, but whatever. This time it seems a little more urgent, I guess. So it's pretty exciting. That's what the buzz is right now. Obviously, everyone's excited about voting, and these American politics. For those of you who are not in the United States, American politics has become crazy over the last 10 years, but it just increasingly more and more so. And it rules everything, even when you don't want it to, even when you're trying not to let it rule things.
You know what's funny? 2016 seems normal now. I remember I thought 2016 was insane. Mm-hmm. It seems so quaint. You know what I mean? There wasn't 4 months of violence. There wasn't a pandemic. There was just, vote for him or not. No. Yeah, okay.
You're so right, dude. And it seemed absolutely crazy then. But yeah, I look back on it and I'm like, I think I would trade now for then.
Absolutely.
Things were still hanging together. So anyway, okay, we got enough people in here now. We got 528 people watching. I'm sure more people will come in. Share out the link, guys. Appreciate you all in the chat. We got some super chats already, so let me get to those right away. Granty's Nut says, "Hail OGs of CG. Congrats on another campaign launch, Zach. And warts and all might be your best cover to date." Oh, well, I don't know if you've seen that, Zach.
I have. I consistently say this. I can't tell any your campaigns apart. I don't know when you extend it. I just buy stuff and it comes in the mail.
Well,
I've never bought the same thing twice by accident. I bought the same thing twice on purpose, to give one out to a friend. But you put out stuff, I buy it or I don't, and then I get it. I always get it.
well, I'll send you one anyway, even if you don't back this, because don't read it though. Don't read it.
Is this the one with the box of chicken in it?
No, this is brand new. So here's the thing. I always told my subscribers, they said, well, why don't you put out a collection of the old 90s stuff? And I said, well, it's not very good. And they said, well, it's expensive and we want to read it anyway, even if it's not very good. And I said, no. And then over time, because it's literally because the fans demanded it, So I finally just went, okay, if we're going to do it, let's do it right. Let's do a big, beautiful presentation, hardcover omnibus. And that's what we're putting together. It's called Cyberfrog, warts and all, the complete 90s Cyberfrog. And it's got everything in it. Now, this is the bare bones book here. It's got a nice green ribbon here, so you can read it the same way that you would read the Bible. You know what I mean? Like, let me mark my place. It'll come with a green highlighter so that you can highlight important passages.
Why didn't you say the Book of Mormon?
I should have said the Book of Mormon. I know that's a little bit more my brand. But no. So this is the book. This is bare bones. Zach. I'm able to do.
So there's no logo on it.
No, there's going to be a logo on the spine, right?
No. I love stuff like this. I love it. I love real bold. What does DC call it? Artist covers.
Yeah, I saw it without the logo and went, leave it alone. And Andrea came down and looked at it and she said, well, you're not going to put the logo on that, are you? I mean, everybody's reaction's been the same. Don't cover, any of the art on this with a big clunky logo. And so what I'm going to do is instead, I'm going to, put the logo on the slipcover case. There's plenty of room for that. I've got an additional piece of artwork for the slipcover. And we'll put the logo on that. So this is a bare bones. Just this hardcover book is going to be $30, and that's it. Yeah. I mean, look, the work's already done. That's the thing about this.
Oh yeah, because it's old.
It's old stuff.
I never know what I'm getting. It comes in the mail. I think, what do I got? I got the Jim Rugg book. It's in my car, and one other one came in.
I keep getting stuff from Kyung Lee, and I get Kyung Lee has become like one of the best crowdfunder guys. I think I've backed all of Kyung's stuff, but I can't tell if he's sending me this stuff for free just for my review or if I actually paid for it. He's made himself boxes with his character, Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb, really big on the box, better than Earthworm Jim's packaging. Probably better than mine, in fact. It really is beautiful. Like, his campaigns are worth backing. Great stuff.
Are yours? And yours aren't?
No. I'm just saying. Mine are definitely.
You're promoting it very strangely. Like, well, theirs are actually worth.
Yeah, I'm like, his campaigns are worth backing, not mine. Shadow Z King 101 says the Dems have announced that all future voting will be held via Google forums and straw polls. Goddamn! I really hope. We do not reach
straw poll when that's the exit poll when you come out and they ask you who you voted for.
Yeah, that's an exit poll, and we're finding out that's equally worthless because people are all trolls now.
Well, because they're intimidated. Nobody wants to come out of a polling place in New Jersey, say, I voted for Trump. Psychos will break all your windows. Yeah. So you just say, oh, I voted for Joe Budden, the rapper.
Joe Budden. The Joe Budden is running. I mean, I like Joe Budden's music. So I voted for him. I was disappointed to find out that it was Joe Biden, who can't even remember his name on any given day. Yeah. I think straw polls are like, hey, they're on Google. It's like, who are you going to vote for? Or are you going to support Joe Biden? Click yes or no.
I thought the straw was like Tom Sawyer, the short straw.
Whoever draws this short straw has to do something horrible. That's you have several straws. They're all different sizes. You hold them out, and whoever draws the short one has to eat a cricket or something like that. That's not what this is.
It's kind of weird because we're at this age where stuff that was still around when we grew up sounds like we grew up in the 1800s now.
Mm-hmm.
Like jacks.
Yeah, what happened? Nobody plays
And
with jacks anymore.
the paddle with the rubber band and the ball.
Nobody plays with that anymore.
Now, I legitimately never saw anyone play stick and hoop. So that was probably like one generation. We missed stick and hoop by one generation.
Yeah, I never saw that either, and that's good. But I will say this: what was really big when I was a kid was wall ball, and I think other people have different names for it. But in New Jersey, it's wall ball, and somebody brings a pinky ball or a tennis ball or something. And this was something all the boys did right before class. You throw a ball against the outside of the school, and you catch it, and you have to catch it. If you fumble it, you go up to the wall and everybody gets to throw the pinky ball at you as hard as they can. Everybody gets
Didn't
one shot.
Rocky have one in like the first movie? He was always squeezing it and throwing it and stuff.
A pinky ball? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It feels like it's a very East Coast thing that you're talking about.
People are saying that's butts up. Yeah, it's called butts up, but it's part of wall ball. It's the butts up version of wall ball. Because okay, people are saying piggy ball. Everybody has their own name for it. When I call it wall ball, other people call it handball and stuff like that.
They still do that in New York. You'll see all the old guys. They'll be at the in the park, and it's a bare hand, or you're allowed to put like a weightlifting glove on, right?
a weightlifting glove to throw the ball. You don't have to do that.
No, to hit it with your hands.
Oh, no. You don't hit it. You just throw it. You catch it and you bounce it. You throw it against the
I think
wall.
this is just some sort of hazing thing that you were going through every day.
No, because fuck, you're right. You might be.
Or
correct.
it's just like weird thing. It's like, oops, I fumbled the ball again.
Let me get up to the wall. Everybody throw that ball at my ass. It's a little weird. Yeah, it's a little weird. When you're kids, though, it's all good. Like that's over with. I can't picture kids doing that now. And can you imagine? A kid up against the wall and like 4 or 5 other boys are throwing that pinky ball as hard as they can, trying to hit him in the back of the head, and no teacher stops it? You can't do that now. I mean, there's no way anybody would ever.
What's so funny is, I see this stuff. People send me these screenshots. I go, this is tattletaling.
Mm-hmm.
I think I tried to tattle once. Somebody stole a pencil, and I knew who did it. And I told the teacher, and the teacher was basically like, sorry, I don't speak little bitch. Like,
I love teachers like that. Yeah, like they.
And it was a female teacher, and it was a girl who stole the pencil. So I was basically like, "What can I do? It's a girl, you know what I mean? You can't really do anything." But my female teacher basically said, "Figure it out."
Yeah, I really like that. Those teachers had the right
I just stole
attitude.
it back when she went out to the water fountain. Just stole it back. It's actually pretty simple.
Yeah, that's the law of the jungle. I mean, that's right. Leave it up to you. But I love teachers like that who are just like who don't reward tattletaling. I remember telling Hunter that. It's like Hunter was like 5, 6 years old, and he really had this firm sense of justice. Like, no, this person's doing something wrong, and they need to. And I said, the greater law, son, the greater law is keep it zipped. You don't talk, you don't tell out of school, you don't run your mouth about people. Do not tattletale. And that was a hard concept to get through to Hunter. I remember that. I remember having to explain. He's like, but they're doing something wrong. And I'm like, it's none of your business. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that wasn't the best parental lesson. Was it, Zach? I mean, what do you think?
Well, I mean, if it was some garden variety, but if there's like some corpse and like... that's been rotting for 14 years.
Yeah, you're thinking of Stand By Me. I don't
some kind of Stand By Me type of shit. Yeah.
No. In that case, absolutely let me know. And I did. I think I made that clear. I said, son, if you do find a rotting corpse, let me know about that. I'll take care of that. People in the chat are like, a corpse, Zach, Jesus. But for real, you have to teach kids. Like, there are some things that you need to tell an adult about. Obviously we know what those are. And there are other things that are just snitchy, little bitchy. You have to be a man, and you have to kind of be able to know the difference between the two. So that was a weird lesson. Now, we live in a society right now in which snitching, people take, this whole generation takes great pleasure in snitching on each other and telling on each other to the public. It's called cancel culture.
Every single day.
Yeah. Well, it's called
I believe
cancel.
in kindness, though.
You do. Wait, you believe in kindness?
No,
Kindness.
that's what you were told. I believe in kindness, even for you.
Oh, right. Wait, who said that to me? Was that? Oh, okay. That was Camilla that said that to me. All right, so let's get into this a little bit. But before we do, so the overarching theme of this show today is we're going to talk about Camilla Zhang. Now, Camilla Zhang has been called the political commissar of Kickstarter, and or she was. She lost her job, and now she's kind of working solo. We've seen her run Scott Snyder's campaign called Noctera. She's reaching out to do more stuff like that. I think Brian Hitch basically put out feelers on Twitter. And Zach, we talked about what that might mean when somebody does that. Brian Hitch going, oh no, I might have to kickstart something. I might have to crowdfund something. And then you think it's because they're sending a red alert out like, hey, big two.
Well, when I was in IT, a lot of it is short contracts, 6 weeks, 6 months, a year. So it's good pay, but you finish a contract and you're looking for your next one. And I would have friends who on their LinkedIn would say, looking for next employment opportunity. And I was like, what are you doing? You just leave your last job up there until you get your next one. And if you don't do that, and I don't know why you wouldn't, you put consultant. You might as well just say living in a dumpster. Like if you're going to say, like, you don't do that. So the funny thing is that Donald DeLay showed me a screenshot of Brett Booth basically saying he listened to the video and he goes, yeah, actually, every time I announce I might do a Kickstarter, somebody offers me a job. So yeah, that is the deal.
Wow, how about that? Okay, well, that mystery solved there. So, whenever one of these guys goes, I might want to crowdfund, perhaps Comicsgate doesn't need to come rushing in and go.
Well, the first couple of times, everyone got super excited, but now that I kind of put 2 and 2 together, I go, this is just a way to say you're available.
It's a scam, right? It's like you're going to lose me.
Scam, but it's not really like I did this video where I was very like up in arms yesterday. I was like, there's literally dozens of videos about people talking about every aspect of crowdfunding and fulfillment. It's not that confusing. You send out a couple emails and you figure it out fairly quickly.
It is work, though. I mean, that the intimidating thing is when you're not in it and you're used to having everybody else do all of the publishing and all the distribution for you. It can be intimidating, and it it's a reason to not do it. It's a reason to put off.
Well, the other thing is that they're always going in the path of least resistance. So the path of least resistance is take any mainstream job, even if it doesn't pay very well, even if it's not very long, because it's as easier than do it yourself. That's also why they're going to do Kickstarter. It's easier. They're going to attract less, flack, be attacked less. So the path of least resistance.
Yeah, you're just one of many. You're just a corporate cog, and all you have to do is make sure that your pages come in on time, and you nod your head when people talk about intersectionality, which is very important. Very important. I had to do that a little bit today. I had to listen to a whole lecture about it. So this is what happened. It's Brian Hitch came out and he kind of said,
"Why do you gotta say it like that? Why do you gotta say it like that? Do you have beef?"
Me and Brian Hitch? No, not at all. I like him.
Do you want to hear how you said it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Brian Hitch.
Yeah, I didn't say it like that. That just might be my jersey. Brian Hitch. Is that better?
Somebody brought up
Brian
I've never noticed this before, but they're like, he must be pretty tough because in school he would have been known as B Hitch.
Yeah.
So he probably learned how to fight, like kind of like a Boy Named Sue type of thing.
Yeah, I think so. I've always said a lot of times you can see why somebody got into one of these geeky hobbies and made it their career because of it's just something as basic as what their name is. It's like one guy that I don't understand. There's a guy named Dick Buttkiss. Now, Dick Buttkiss became an athlete, and good for him. I mean, he went the other way. He didn't like retreat into a world of fantasy. He actually, became an athlete and all that stuff. He decided he'd kick people's ass. But most people, if their name is Dick Buttkiss, are going to what? They're going to go into the world of Spider-Man, I think, or something like that. They're going to
Was
kind of
he
recruit.
on My Two Dads?
Was
Or
he?
was he the dad on Webster?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Webster. That was
Papadopoulos.
no, that was the character's name. George Papadopoulos. Was built. Papa was built right into that, Zach. You hear it and you go, oh, it's just a filthy Greek name. But no, it's Papadopoulos, and you hear a little black child saying George Papadopoulos, and you go, oh, he's saying Papa.
Wasn't he like 40 though?
Yeah, he was like 40 years old and used to get pissed off when cops would pull him over when he was driving. That's a burden. I mean, Andrew and I were talking about that. She's like, we were watching a commercial and there were little dwarf kids that were like, hey, donate to Shriners Hospital. And we're like, oh, maybe we'll do that. And she's like, so that kind of kid, the kid has dwarfism? Like what? And I said, yeah, dwarfism is different than midgetry. And she said, I don't think they call it midgetry.
I was just about to say that exact. That sounds like a hobby.
Midgetry?
Midgetry sounds like you either study or collect midgets.
Yeah, I'm into midgetry. I would do that. I would definitely collect midgets. And they'd be like, well, what are you? I'm a midgetrist. I'm somebody who's fascinated.
That sounds like someone who fixes midgets.
If I fix midgets, how do I fix them? Like with a taffy pulling machine? No, a midgetrist would be a midgetalist would be somebody who collects midgets, like a philatelist. What do you right or wrong?
I'm just thinking about those commercials where they're like, bring in your broken gold chains. You know those ones?
Yeah.
My name's Ethan Van Skyver. Do you have a broken midget? Bring him in.
I'll fix him. I'll fix that midget. Yeah, so anyway, what the hell were we talking about? Something about Webster. I can't remember. Webster would get pissed off because he'd get arrested all the time because of George Papadopoulos, who was a famous athlete who was not Dick Buttkiss, who has a horrible sexually degrading name, who went into athletics instead of being tortured in fantasy. So that's where that I think I untangled that pretty well. Now this is what happened today, Zach, and you're not going to believe this. B Hitch, and you're right. His name is what?
We had this whole discussion. I know everything you're going to say.
Now, right. B Hitch said, I've been thinking about a crowdfunding project for a long while, and it's potentially exciting. But what does put me off is the sheer effort. This drives me nuts.
The sheer midgetry of it all. The
midgetism of it, and the logistics that would go into fulfillment. And so immediately, Brian, this is, and I like Brian a lot. I really do like him. But again, this is like this damsel in distress kind of thing. Like men shouldn't do this. Like I'm thinking about feeding my family, but the seas are rough out there. And I don't even think I know how to fish. And I mean, you know what I mean? And then everybody goes, don't worry, we'll catch fish for you. And that's indeed what happens. It's just kind of like men doing damseling. We'll help you, Brian. Don't worry. And this fellow here goes, talk to Camilla Zhang. Illa the killer.
Jesus.
Zach, under no circumstances is this woman a killer.
Oh, well, what about Kickstarter?
Oh, she did kill. She did kind of kill Kickstarter. Yes. Kickstarter's doing so. Kickstarter's listening to Indiegogo right now. Kickstarter's like, hey, we're gonna actually do add-on rewards now. Oh, okay, good. Indiegogo started doing that 2 years ago, so that's great. Good for you. Catch up to Indiegogo. Anyway, Illa the Killer, the former comic book lead for Kickstarter, she does consulting now for comic book crowdfunded projects.
Remember what I told my friends? When you don't have a job, just say you're a consultant. Yeah,
you're right. I've never been that corporate. Like I would just say I'm a bum. I would never be able to say I'm a consultant. I would never have the balls to say that. And that's exactly what I am. I mean, what do I do? Like if I wanted to not work, what I could do is I could say I'm a YouTuber who gets comic books funded, and I could charge everybody like 5% of their crowdfunders to promote them. I'd be a consultant. And Zach, by the way, that's exactly what Camilla Zhang is doing. I mean, I don't know what she's charging. I don't know, but that's exactly where she's going. She's going in that direction here, where she's going to full-time promote other people's campaigns.
Where else?
Well, and get them funded. She worked on Scott Snyder and Tony Daniels' Noctura 1 book that raised $218,000 out of a $40,000 goal. And then here you go. Camilla Zhang made the poor decision to deny John Malin and Richard Meyer from using Kickstarter, costing them hundreds of thousands when, and then they had to do layoffs. Stay away from Camilla Zhang unless you want to make half of what you would if you used Indiegogo. Listen to Ethan. Don't listen to me. I have nothing to say. All I said to him was, all I said to Brian Hitch was, get some Gemini mailers, get a stamps.com account, and be a big boy. This is reality. If this is the case that you need to do this, and you're gonna take this on, 3 months of your life are gonna be mailing comics. Get used to it, make that adjustment in your mind, and get moving. Don't listen to me. I
have some late breaking news. Tom Cruise has been cleared to film a movie in space.
Oh. What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
What's it going to be?
It's Doug Liman, who did Live, Die, Repeat. And obviously it's going to be limited in scope. But it's going to actually be filmed in space.
I got to be honest with you. I know that sounds cool, but it's probably not cool.
Yeah, there's this whole genre of like Interstellar and stuff. Like, have you noticed movies like that fall down the memory hole like instantly? Moon and Gravity. It's a big deal, and then 3 months later, nobody cares. You need laser blasters. You need aliens. You need fights.
Gravity was pretty good. I still think about Gravity now and then, but Interstellar, I don't think about. What was the one where they were going to the sun?
I think it was called. And it was Sunshine or something like that. Chris Evans, like 15 years ago, right?
I think so. Yeah. I don't think about those movies anymore. I think that I'd rather see a movie about space that was fake than real. I'd rather see it be fake. I don't want to see a real. It's filmed in space. You can't do anything in space. I've seen. I was watching Sesame Street with my daughter. And it was like you had this Asian guy floating around in a satellite, filmed in space. And he goes, F is for float. And there's like a letter F floating there. And the guy is trying so hard to stay upright so that he can point to this floating letter F, which is also trying to stay upright. F is for float. And that's about it. That's what you can do in space.
So it's going to be Tom Cruise in F is for float.
Yeah, F is for flop.
Maybe it's an adaptation. They bought the rights to that sketch.
Possibly. Yeah, F is for flop. And you can't do anything in space. You're struggling to maintain balance to get everything. Just don't do it. I guess the idea. The
interesting thing is that he's on the so they got the International Space Station. I guess they're going to make more flights with SpaceX. And he's on the manifest for 3 years. They're basically saying, we're going to make this movie, 10 minutes at a time on 20 space flights over the next 3 years.
Yeah, that just seems like Tom Cruise getting what he wants. Because, I get to go to space 300 times.
Well, exactly. I'm a huge fan of Mission Impossible. But the one thing I don't like in the movies is every movie will have like a motorcycle scene that goes on way too long. And it's in there because Tom Cruise says, that's me just riding motorcycles for 3-4 weeks.
Just want to ride motorcycles.
Yeah.
Speaking of space and speaking of the emptiness, the vast emptiness of space and how boring it is, I want to thank you for changing the, thumbnail of your Impossible Stars graphic novel. Richard C. Meyer, your boy Zack, has a new campaign. It's called Impossible Stars. Aliens threaten Earth with obliteration if we break the quarantine they have forced upon us. Now, this campaign's only been going for a week now. It is brand new. Zack, tell what's it about? What's the give me a little more than just this buzz line.
So, kind of talking about those boring ones. Earth has a faster than light ship, and they're going to go explore the universe. They think it's empty. We'll We'll put some probes out. And then, shortly before launch, they get a radio transmission from outside the solar system, and they say, no, you're locked down. You're not allowed for this flight. They do a couple of death rays. One hits the outskirts of Pittsburgh. The other one goes in between the Earth and the Moon. And so every government capitulates. They say, fine, we don't want to be burned. Fine, we won't go up to space. So one guy forms up a crew, and he basically is like, no, what the hell? Like, no, I'm going to go break this quarantine. So he steals a ship, takes off, and then they find kind of like a Tom Cruise guy, this hero astronaut, and they're like, you got to go catch up to him. You got to convince him to stop, or you got to take him out, even if that means you're just ramming into him and killing both crews.
So it's like the Holdo maneuver, right? I mean, kind of.
Yeah, but it's not with the like SJW incompetence.
Right. So there's no.
Oh, gosh, I talk about brain dumping movies. Wow, I forgot.
The Holdo maneuver.
They made those 3 movies called Everyone a Bigot for Not Liking Them. And then their own cast is like, these movies are trash.
It's just inevitable. Well, they are. It's inevitable.
My favorite is Oscar Isaac saying, oh, are there going to be new adventures with your characters? And he's like,
were there any old ones? I mean,
yeah, that's a good one.
What did I do? Yeah, and Rose Tico is my favorite character because Rose Tico, she was a fascist with a stun gun. I don't know why they embraced fascism accidentally.
Lectured people and made ridiculous that maneuver that Finn wanted to do in the second movie. That would have destroyed that entire enemy cannon.
Mm-hmm.
An obstruction in the barrel of any firearm makes it blow up.
Yep.
And she gives him this stupid lecture about love. For the sacrifice of one person, he would have killed, 50 enemy and one of their major weapons platforms?
Here's the thing. That's a good way to die. Like, you're in war. It's a
beautiful way to die. It's pretty much for a soldier, that is the ideal way to die.
That's right. And instead, what did he get? Well, first of all, Rose Tico was basically saying,
Me Too'd, kissed without consent.
He got kissed by Rose Tico.
After being assaulted. She crashed into him on purpose, drove him into the salt, and then Me Too'd the hell out of him.
And then we lost Luke Skywalker. So when we say save the ones that we love, we mean, Finn. We don't mean Luke Skywalker because he can die. That's okay. So Luke Skywalker is going to die doing something weird. When it could have just been the sacrifice of one soldier who was redeeming himself for a life of being a stormtrooper. And he had a career of bloody murder as a stormtrooper, right? One assumes.
Technically, that was his first mission, and he didn't kill anyone in Force Awakens. No. That was his first time going into combat.
All right. Well, if you were a Nazi for just one day, Zach, isn't that bad enough? Shouldn't you be?
Have you ever heard the SJW saying?
No.
If one Nazi sits at a table with 11 people, that's 12 Nazis.
The entire UN is just fucking Nazis. Well, okay. All right.
By the way, vaguely related to that, I looked up how many albinos there are in America to compare it with how many white supremacists there are.
Mm-hmm.
There are twice as many albinos.
There are barely any albinos.
I have not seen an albino, I think, in my entire life. Every time I was like, oh, I have a memory. I was like, no, that's a movie. That's a TV show.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen one in real life. Not on television.
There's Powder. Oh, that was a TV show too. That was a movie. Powder. Albinos.
I've seen them like in magazines. Like in Africa, oh, here's an albino, African. Yeah, I've never seen an albino. SJWs find 5,000 new white supremacists a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pushing 50, and I've never seen a single albino in my entire life.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever met I might have talked to a white supremacist a couple of times. I'm still trying to work that situation out. But I don't think I've talked to too many. who just out and out go, yes, like we must save the white race. I've never really experienced that, and you think that I would because I'm in this position of prominence, with what would be considered right wing pop culture in some ways. You'd think that I'd run into them all the time.
Well, there was a very interesting topic of conversation I noticed with Razor Fist, where he wrote a novel, I believe it was. He had a publisher, and then I guess cancel culture killed that deal. The publisher felt uncomfortable, so then he got another publisher, and then people were like, "Well, this guy's a bad guy," and I think he basically said, "Well, he'll publish me, and no one else will."
We're talking about Vox Day. Yeah, Vox Day.
I basically skimmed an article and then I tried to find more information. I couldn't find it. So that's why I'm kind of guessing at some points. But it was an interesting concept. They're like, you scare people away from working with anyone, and then you have to work with the person that the people don't want you to work with. You know what I mean? Because basically that person's already being attacked. And I think he even said, like, I didn't want that other publisher to go through all this, stupid bullshit.
See, that's sometimes. Here's the good thing about working with Vox Day. I mean, Vox Day will take pleasure in that stupid bullshit. So, feel free.
I just don't understand why anyone needs a publisher right now.
See,
it's not that hard to find someone to print a book and mail it. That's basically it. He's selling stuff. I don't know where he's selling it. But it's easy to to do a Indiegogo or a Kickstarter. Well, so I don't understand why anyone's like, I have to get a publisher.
Zack, it's distribution. In Vox Day's case, I believe he's using Ingram to distribute his comics. Although I haven't seen them, I don't really know what that means. But it's a whole distribution house that I believe they have a deal with. So for somebody like Razor Fist, I guess he's doing it's like a sci-fi novel or something. It's not a comic book, right?
Yeah, so it's a novel. I don't know what genre.
So it's like, hey, I want it to be on shelves somewhere, so Vox Day can offer that. I can't offer that yet. I don't really have, distribution. I hand distribute things. I kind of believe that that's the future, and brick and mortar is on the way out. But
do you do the thing where you go to the post office or you coordinate so they'll come and pick it up?
I do the thing where I send women to take the stuff to the post office for me right now. Because
Billy Tucci, he did a picture where it was an entire postal van filled with his stuff. And I've heard you can do that. I heard there's no price to it. You just say, hey, I've got a bunch of stuff, and they'll just
come pick it up. Yeah, that's correct. And we were doing that for a little while, but COVID kind of stopped it. Like we stopped being able to get appointments for pickups. Like a big postal truck would come by. And they would take away. We were doing this when we were distributing posters, when we were shipping out posters, because you just can't fit all of these posters because they're so big, the tubes, in the back of my truck. So we'd have the mail truck come by, and he would pick them all up and take them away. And that was prior to COVID. So now they're just not coming as frequently. But we're going to have to use them quite a bit when we're shipping out Wrecked Planet, because that's going to be just a one order. Think about what one order looks like with the honeycomb box and then the Salamandroid toy and the Cyberfrog toy in boxes. That's a big box that people are going to be getting big boxes sent to them. And I got to send 2,500 of those out. We'll try to do 200 of those a day. I'm going to be shipping. This is what I told Brian Hitch. I was just like, you're going to be shipping for 3 months. Yeah, we're going to be shipping out Wrecked Planet for 3 months, which is going to be a nightmare. And it's not going to be a nightmare to fulfill, like to actually do the work. It's going to be, where's mine? Where's my frog book, fat man? I'm seeing them on the internet. I saw people getting theirs a month ago, 2 months ago. Where's mine? And that's the one problem with this. You can't ship them all out at once. You have to it's like 200 a day. We're packing them up. We're sending them out.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I would do like 120 to 150 a day. And that was just for books and Gemini mailers. And that would fill my car, like full.
Well, we're doing that now because we have our eBay store, and our eBay store is it's kicking ass. This is our eBay store. The link's in the description. If people in the chat haven't read Cyberfrog Blood Honey yet, you can get it here. Different versions of it, different variations. I have exclusive stickers and things like that that come now with just our eBay store. There's a Rainbow Brute Dazzler sticker now that we offer with the Cyberfrog Chromium. This stuff.
You've already got Rainbow Brute merch?
Just one thing, just one rainbow prismatic sticker that you can only get with the Cyberfrog Chromium variant. They'll be merch soon because we're launching on November 15th. But anybody who wants to get anything Rainbow Brute can get it on the eBay store.
Remember when everyone used to coordinate about what days to launch, and now whatever, just launch it.
Well, I say that now. People are like, hey, Shane Davis is worried because he's launching his Starlight Cats book on the 27th. And he's like, I don't want to launch on the same day as Warts and All. So when are you launching? And I'm just this hippie, I'm just out there like, I don't know, man. Like, whenever the stars say. And the truth is, it's just like, I have a couple of things that I need to do. I've got the book artwork put together, and that's good. I just need to put the campaign together. I've got the files. I've got everything all ready to go. But I don't know when I'm going to launch it. But I keep telling Shane, I'm just like, it's not going to matter when I launch. People aren't just like, I can only back one campaign a day. In fact, I think it's more like you want to kind of launch the same time as one of my campaigns.
It's like grocery shopping. Unless you need just one roll of toilet paper in an emergency, you wait till you need a couple things and you go buy. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of like a tipping point. It's not necessarily, I definitely want Impossible Stars, but maybe like the seventh time they consider it, they'll be like, okay, yeah.
And they're considering it now. Thanks, guys. We just hit $45,000 on Impossible Stars, and 852 backers. Wonderful. Let's get this to 50,000 tonight. That would be amazing. We're having a. This is Zach. Are you doing anything? Can you live stream for a little while? Because we're going to be talking about the Camilla Zhang conversation I had today. What happened was Camilla reached out to me out of the blue, and I've never seen a social. By the way,
it wasn't that out of the blue. It took me a while to figure it out, and then when I did, it's completely obvious the reason why.
Okay. So do you want to tell me, or do you want to?
Yeah, because after she's like, "You're messing with my paper. Why are you in my paper stacks? Why are you in my paper?
You're messing with my paper."
She's trying to get Brian Hitch to do Kickstarter and have her manage it, and you're over there with 2.7 something whatever million in sales, and you're telling Brian, get yourself some Gemini mailers, buy some tape, and one other thing. Stamps.com. Yeah. And she's like, what are you doing? You're knocking my paper stacks over. What the hell, buddy?
Well, I will tell you this.
She believes in kindness for everyone, including you.
Including me. I know, even the least of these. It's like, I believe in loving your neighbor, even the least of these, like you. So I'm
Christ-like.
Very Christ-like, like Jesus Christ, like. Here is, I said, look, Greg, to this guy, I said, look, these people can't practice cancel culture. They don't deserve kindness. I hope that isn't you too. Because I've always got people going, yeah, but you're a dick. I'm like, I think I am. I'm a dick to SJWs. I just have no mercy on them because everything is a game. You can't get through to them. There's no sincerity there. There's no center to that Tootsie Roll pop. You might as well just throw it out. So I don't talk nicely to social justice warriors. I don't talk to them like they're normal people because they don't accept apologies. They'll never apologize to you. Their entire goal is to destroy you. And it's really, really spooky. Whoa, hold on. We just got a $20 super chat from Mr. Berger. Uncle E, Mr. Berger has 7,000 followers with 24K interactions monthly on Facebook. I've experienced woke SJW attacks all the time. For the small 3 to 5 minute cartoon shorts I put out. Any tips on dealing with woke scum? We need a woke scum remover. Yeah, well, you know what, Mr. Berger, you're watching the right show because we'll go through that. And thank you for $20. Very much appreciate you. So anyway, out of the blue, here comes Camilla. Now it is scripture. It's SJW scripture that you do not interact with me unless it's to. You do not want to talk to me like I'm a person. I've never seen it happen. It doesn't happen to Zach.
Actually, obviously I'm not on Twitter, but people send me screenshots, and people are, how do I say it? They're relaxing, they're unclenching. A year ago, just even say our name without, it would invoke, lightning, thunder. You'd hear
Yeah.
that in the background. And now people just say, hey, I saw this video, I think he was wrong. That's it. Like, I'm like shocked. It's like you don't have to go on like a 30 tweet tirade about how I'm like the worst. No, I watched this video and he was wrong.
How about that? But you
Yeah,
know what?
shocking.
You were right. So they're wrong. Your videos are always right.
It's
I
so
had,
weird seeing someone in comics just talk like a person. I remember Comicron. There was something, they changed something, and I just basically made my guess about why they did it. Oh, it was when they were saying that crowdfunding made a certain amount. I go, that seems way too low. And then he just right there in the video comments, he just clarified. He goes, we're not including shipping. And I was like ebullient. I go, you just answered a question in a normal way. Like, so
amazing.
grateful. It was ridiculous.
Thank you for talking to me like I'm a human being with a soul. Yeah, I know it is weird. So but at the same time, Zach, I don't know. Like, I don't want to talk to these people. So Camilla says this. She says, "Hi there, Ethan. We've never met in person, but I may have corresponded with you a few times back in my days working for Chiarello."
I can micro-examine like every sentence. First of all, she's a little scared. She's like, "Hi, we've never spoken, except for maybe if we did," because she's worried that you're going to be like, "Hey, we had this email exchange from 3 years ago." So it's just so weird, like the way they have to approach you. They can't just like respond. There has to be a preface.
Hi there, Ethan. Hi there, Ethan. We've never met in person, but I may have. I'm actually going to do a Google search or Gmail search and see if we ever did have any interaction at all. Like, because when you're working at DC, and she was, I don't know who she was, maybe an assistant to Mark Chiarello, who was the art director at DC Comics. Their assistant might reach out to you on behalf of the editor. But I cannot remember Camilla Zhang ever. I can't remember doing much work for Mark Chiarello. So anyway, she says, "I'm a firm believer that everyone deserves kindness, yourself included." I mean, Zach, I'm the elephant man.
Exactly.
I'm the elephant man. Well, my wife always told me that I was a freak in the sheets, but I didn't think she literally meant the elephant man. But maybe that's what she meant all along. I deserve kindness.
It's just so funny. It's like humans deserve respect, and also Ethan, fine. And the thing is, they don't even realize how this comes off.
How does it come off? It's like I read this and I go, it's like this is like she is Jesus Christ and I am what? I am Frankenstein's monster.
I mean, I'm imagining more like the. Do you remember the Hunchback in 300?
Yes, yeah.
Kind of like that guy.
Oh my God, that's me, right? I mean, all right. So I deserve kindness. She said, "If you ever want to talk in person, I'm open to it." Now I said, "What do you mean in person?" I mean, my thing was, you mean like this? Because in person interactions happen in comics very much anymore? I mean, I don't know.
Well, also, there's an easy way to just. I mean, like it wouldn't take 1 or 2 emails to get your email or look on your about page. There's a lot of pose here. A lot of
this is a public display.
Posturing. Yeah. So so I understand. You're like, what are you contacted me? Yeah, okay, let's just talk.
I mean, understand this. Like, yeah, like I am. I'm not looking to talk to Camilla Zhang. I'm not looking to interact with her in any way. I don't care about Camilla Zhang. I don't care what she does. I'm going to discuss what goes on in the comic book industry because that's part of my job. People, you got to understand. The way I see what I do for a living, I comment on culture and media in comics and movies and TV. And then, the SJWs and things like that. So I will talk about Camilla Zhang because that keeps me talking. It makes it so that people are entertained and then I can sell comics. So it is part of my job. Am I looking to make things right with Camilla Zhang or to come to terms with her? No, I couldn't care less. Not at all. I understand. For me, everything is business. And I think she was kind of shocked by we'll talk about this long conversation I had with her, but I think she was kind of shocked that when I approached her not as a conservative, like Trump supporter, but as a businessman who was basically saying, this is business to me. You stay out of my way. I don't care what you believe. I don't care about systemic oppression of people of color. That's not my concern. That's not why I do comics. So you stay out of my way and we won't have trouble. And tell that to your friends too. That was the whole, and she was like, but what about Trump? And it was Zach, it was the weirdest conversation. We just touched on it. Zach, just to tell people in the chat, Zach and I talked on the phone briefly directly after this happened. And, I gave Zach the overview of how this kind of went, but we'll talk a little bit more about it. So in person, we're going to talk in person. I talked about cancel culture, and this just shocked me here. This right here is an amazing thing to say, this tweet. What you call cancel culture, in quotes, as though I made up the term, Zach. I made up the term cancel culture. To me,
this is a new thing where they're trying to, there have literally been 10,000 tweets where they say, cancel this person, drag this person. And then once they kind of realized that everyone was getting really sick of cancel culture, and it made, mainstream news, and even normies had heard of it and didn't like it, they said, oh, there's no cancel culture. What are you talking about? No, that's your word. We don't. Nobody said cancel 10 years ago. You created cancel culture. And now they're like, no, it's call out culture. But there's this phrase that lawyers use. Oh God, I just screwed it up. I forgot it. Distinction without a difference, something like that.
Yeah.
It's basically you're calling the same thing a different word. It's the same thing.
Well, by the way, this was a big part of our conversation, and it's not. It was, why do you insist on calling yourselves Comicsgate? And she's like, it really sets people off. And I was like,
these people are always warning you about the things that they're doing. You ever see someone when they'll like go on your stream and they'll warn you? They're like, hey, saw you on Ethan's stream. You better watch out. People are going to hurt you. It's like, no, you're going to hurt them. You're warning people about the stuff that you will do.
That's right. Again, it's like everything is about words and how words sound and how words make you feel. And I had to say to Camilla, she's like, why do you use Comicsgate? Because I said, well, first of all, that word was imposed on us by your friends. I didn't mean to be called a Comicsgater or Comicsgate or a gator.
What is wrong with it? It's just a
word.
2 words put together.
Yeah. So, it's like you could call it whatever you want. Here's the thing. Like, you guys use words to hurt people or to glorify yourselves or to hide what you're doing. Words, the words that you use are very, very important to you, apparently, because it's how you hide the truth. But you called us Comicsgate, and we went, well, what we're doing is good. So if you want to call us Comicsgate, we'll just say, okay, we're Comicsgate. And, you will know us by... was it Jesus who said this? By the fruit of their tree, you'll know them. And that's not an invitation to Smiller to steal any more kiwis or whatever they were, kumquats from people's trees. You will know us by what we do. And we're good, and we're doing good stuff, and we're getting people funded. We're actually a very positive movement in comics. And you, on the other hand, call yourselves, quite self-aggrandizingly, social justice warriors. Now, I believe in, I guess, something called social justice. I would fight for what I consider to be social justice. Sure, I'm a warrior. Yet, that word, you're hiding from SJW or social justice warrior. Now, you don't like to be called that because of what you have done, what social justice warrior means because of your own actions. So now you want to be called something else. You can't run from yourself. You might as well just say we're SJWs and then behave yourselves and make SJW into a good thing. So here we are, like this obfuscation. What you call cancel culture to me is more, okay, again, I don't call it cancel culture. You did, and society at large has adopted it and decided that it was evil. Decided it was evil. By the way, holy cow, Sergeant Politeness for $50 says, hail EVS. Love seeing you talk some sense into that stupid bitch today. Well, that's not nice. Even though she probably took 0 from the back and forth, I loved that twatter beatdown and appreciate your approach to handling SJWs. Keep fighting the good fight. I didn't see it that way, Sergeant, but I'm glad that you enjoyed it, and thank you for $50. I appreciate that very much. Heel versus Babyface, 20 pounds, says, buy a beer each. Hey, thanks. I'll buy Zack a beer when I finally meet him. Zack, come to Jersey. It's not as bad as you heard. So she says, I think it's important to be able to call out racism, hate speech, and downright mean or abusive behavior. If we don't do this, how can we improve the world we live in? What do you think of that, Zack? Now, this whole tweet seems like something that you could talk about for 2 hours.
The sanctimony is just off the charts. I mean, first of all, like you say in the response, like, what are you, the Sharia police? Like, you have a very simple job, crowdfund comics, and you completely screwed up, and you basically destroyed your company. And you're not even learning. You're like, oh, maybe we'll sell comics, and then on the weekends we'll be the morality police. It's like, no, just sell comics all the time. I've never been judged by Pepsi,
But if Pepsi doesn't call out racism, hate speech, and downright mean or abusive behavior, how can Pepsi improve the world that we live in? You think about that, Zack?
No, it's just they just need to sell soda. That's it. All Kickstarter needs to do is crowdfund things. That's it. These are real simple, real simple things, and they will carry to this. They will focus on this even to the point past destruction. Like we talked about this. SJW's failure has no effect on them. Massive public failure. You destroyed, we watched you slowly hollow out that company over 2 years. We saw Andy Corey hollow out Vertigo over about 18 months. We saw every single part of the destruction, and then it happens, and then you're giving business advice to people.
Absolutely unreal. But she's not. It was never about business. It was by the way, Camilla Zhang would be the definition of a grifter. I will get into that. They call us grifters all the time because me and Zack are sitting here going, "Hey, we're trying to sell comic books here, and that's what we're doing." I mean, this is our primary job here. We use YouTube to market, sell, let people know about our comic books, but that's what we're doing. Our job isn't to change the world, even though we are, Zack. We're changing the world. I think Kelsey made a video about it. Our job is to sell comics. This is what we want to do. Impossible Stars graphic novel. This is your boy Zack Richard C. Meyer's new comic book. It's doing great. Thank you, guys. The links are in the description. If you hit the arrow down, support indie comics, support these books. Zack has a long track record of just banger after banger. These great comics, great indie comics. This one the art is really nice. It reminds me a little bit of Michael Golden. In some places.
Oh wow!
Yeah. That's the first impression that I got. What do you want to give people a quick elevator? What's going on here, Zack? What is this right here?
This is the hero astronaut who's recovering from some physical injuries that this nurse knows about, but there's also some other things that happen to him that he's just kind of finding out about, and that's going to be a major element in later in the story.
Oh, awesome. Great artwork. Very cool. So story by you and Chuck. What's it like working with Chuck Dixon?
It's fantastic. It's kind of funny because he was saying, obviously he's got 30, 40 years, probably about 30 years more writing experience than I do. But we just finished up the script for Impossible Stars 2, and he basically said, keep these coming because you come up with crazy ideas that I don't come up with. And then, vice versa. There's a whole subplot in this that was not in any of my original idea or summary. And I remember just kind of thinking, I don't really know, why this is here. And then the entire sequel is based around that. And I can't imagine that, element not being in the first one.
It looks like fun. I'm glad to hear there's a sequel. So it's just going to be like an ongoing franchise.
Yeah. I really saw, especially with John Malin and others that people really like the franchise. They like the bundles. They like when 3 comes out, they get 1 and 2, or they get 2 and 3. So originally my plan was just to bebop and do a different thing every book. But there's a reason why sequels exist, and my sequels, I'm not really locked down. I mean, Impossible Stars is basically me doing stuff in sci-fi, in space, in the future. So I can put a lot of my sci-fi ideas into this franchise already.
Mhm.
There's a couple that just won't fit because it's like, they contradict, one another. But almost all of my sci-fi ideas can fit into this timeline.
Awesome. Yeah, this is the way to do it. I just feel like people like to sort of collect one single franchise, one story. You do Jawbreakers 1, 2, 3. I compare everything to Harry Potter, right? Even though reading
That's the other thing is I'm going to start calling this, it'll be called Jawbreakers 4, and then whatever the subtitle is.
Love that. Yeah, love that. Because I'm calling that already, like, if you guys look at the description, you'll see that I'm calling this Jawbreakers 3. And because that's what it is. It's the third Jawbreakers book.
That's good. I can still rename it in there. Yeah, I can just add in a 3.
I'm wondering if I'm going to put a big 2 on Cyberfrog 2 Wrecked Planet, Cyberfrog Wrecked Planet. I might put Cyberfrog and then a big red 2, Wrecked Planet. I might do that because it just.
Well, I'm thinking it's more interchangeable. Like you call it like Jawbreakers 3, or you call it Jawbreakers Grand Bazaar. But Jawbreakers 3 Grand Bazaar, that I don't know, it might get a little wonky sometimes.
No, I disagree. I disagree. It's you do want the
always
subtitle.
do the number in there. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because it's just like Rocky 3, and then wait a second, Rocky didn't have subtitles. Is there a movie franchise that used subtitles and a number?
Well, I mean, you got Mad Max and Rambo, where their naming convention is just insane.
Yeah,
the movie.
I like it though. I think they should have. I think they should have the title too. Exploding Prinny, thanks for $20. Says, can I shout out Mutant Football League on Kickstarter? They're making a comic of the video game, and it could use some love. Tim Tyler's art is a good fit for the series. Full disclosure, I support mutant cheerleaders, dude. All right, good luck to you, Exploding Prinny. That's Mutant Football League on Kickstarter. Dark Lord Mad Russo.
Yeah, we can do that, and it just happens.
About what? What do you mean?
W's, well, they can barely even say Indiegogo. They will have entire articles about crowdfunding where they refuse to admit that it exists.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's like, hey, can you promote my Kickstarter? Yeah, he's got a Kickstarter, blah, blah, blah. There, done, easy.
Of course. Yeah, honestly, I want people to be able to succeed. That's all this is. I want indie comics to win. By the way, I just got news that Berserkers, Keanu Reeves is a Berserker, just crossed $1 million in funding.
Oh,
$1 million in funding. This is great news for crowdfunded comics. This book is going to blaze trails. Is it going to hit 2 million? It's going to hit 1.5, I think, at the very least. That is phenomenal.
Yeah,
it just means more people looking at crowdfunded comics, and that's what we want. We want more people to think about the idea of getting their comics this way rather than the old way. So everybody be supportive of each other, and let's allow this to continue to grow. There shouldn't be envy or jealousy, except with me and Doug Tenable. That's the only that's the only case in which it's okay to spite, each other.
Everyone I know that was friends at one point, I feel like they're all going to be friends again. It's just a matter of time, and it might be 5 years, it might be 10 years.
Well, look,
I contend that people were friends at one time. It is almost impossible, barring a murder, for them to not become friends again, because obviously you had something very much in common, still do. Time heals all wounds, that type of thing.
I don't think time heals somebody being an asshole, though. I mean,
what if you both lived for 1,000 years?
What if we both live for 1,000 years and we're the two last human beings on Earth?
Exactly.
And we have a symbiotic kind of relationship. Like he's really good at good at cooking and I'm good at fishing. So I catch the fish, but don't know how to cook them. He can cook them. Then we could be friends. And I picture this environment kind of like that Tom Hanks movie, where he talks to a volleyball. It would be like me like Doug TenNapel would be my volleyball with a face drawn on it. I would talk to him like that, and I'd care about Doug TenNapel as he cooked my fish. But that's about it. I can't honestly. I don't see that happening. You never say never, but I can't see us shipwrecked on an island and the rest of the world disappearing. God, at least I'd be able to make him get in that water and take a bath. I mean, that's the only thing that I'm thinking. Get in the ocean, bathe. All right, so I'm so sorry, Zach. Jawbreaker's Grand Bizarre graphic novel. Links in the description. If you haven't backed this one yet, back it because you can also get Jawbreakers 2. You can't get Jawbreakers 1 though for some reason. We're gonna figure that situation out.
Well,
so,
there's such a there's the whole speculator collector market, which I really don't understand. I understood it 30 years ago because you would look, in the comic buyer's guide and it would say, this is worth this much money. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
you go to the store and it would be usually that or something close. But now with the CGC and the grading and then the eBay, I see people say CGC 9.8 Jawbreakers Lost Souls $450. Like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I would have kept more of them if I would have known about this whole thing. So I think that's interesting, but I don't really understand it.
Yeah, I think first printings are a thing, and I think you should constantly reprint your story so that more people can read it. I don't believe in this.
With Walking Dead, I mean, that first printing was incredibly valuable, no matter how many follow-up printings there were.
That's exactly right. And you can't, you have to understand the idea is to grow the franchise. And your number one issue of Jawbreakers, first printing, is never going to be worth anything if more people don't come on board, check it out, become interested in it, and then seek that first printing, want that first printing, and then seek it out. That's demand. That's going to make the book skyrocket. Collectors are not going to settle for a third printing or a fourth printing, but readers will. New readers will, who are just checking it out. So keep your books in print. Make sure that people can go back and start at the beginning, or they're going to feel left out and they're never going to hop on board. So Grand Bizarre God King combo, get this for $50. You'll hop on board the train, the franchise here, and you'll see what's up. Let's see. With me, Cyberfrog 2 Wrecked Planet is this close now to 86,000. I'm trying to get to 1.1 million. That's when I'll be happy.
Going to keep this up when the next one goes up?
Warts and all, yes. Yeah.
Because they're different things.
They're different things, but here's the thing. I kept Unforgettable Tales up while Wrecked Planet was just starting, and it boosted Unforgettable Tales 100%. So the idea.
There is this really weird effect where it's like, all of a sudden, like I said, they needed to consider buying it for the 7th time, and all of a sudden they consider it when they buy the other one. They go, oh yeah, there.
Absolutely. I mean, here's the Warts and all is going to boost Wrecked Planet. I'll probably get to 1.1 million at that point. And that's my goal. 1.1 million and 10,000 backers, and I'll be satisfied. So I'll be like, yeah, that's perfect. Let's move on to the great Rainbow Brute. But yeah, you want to keep these things up so that people who buy Warts and all, who are just discovering Cyberfrog, can still hop on board Wrecked Planet. And again, have an eBay store so that people can go back and buy Blood Honey. Everything doesn't have to be crowdfunded. I think eventually you do have to just make it easy. Buy overstock of stuff so that you can sell it on eBay and people can have it in 2 days. Chris O'Neill, thanks for $20. He says, Zach, I know Jawbreakers is your top seller, but I really enjoy your other projects the most. I was really impressed by Iron Sights and hope to see Pandemic. No. And Iron Sights, and I hope you do Regimen. Keep coming up with good stuff. I've never heard of Regimen. Thanks, Chris.
It had another title when I first came up with it. It's the idea that there's this old workout discovered, and it's incredibly strenuous. It takes like a whole year. But at the end of the year, you basically go into a coma, and then you wake up, and you're like, I don't know, one of the guys from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. You're superhuman. But at the end of the year, almost everyone who passed it were prisoners, because those are the people who had the time, they had the the equipment, they had the food, they could do things when they want. So all of a sudden, all these people have superpowers, and it's mostly prisoners who, of course, escape. And then people realize that this workout exists, but it takes a year. So there's like this 1 year period. Like all the militaries, they force their soldiers to do it. And most people fail. It's an incredibly difficult regimen to go through. But all the different militaries are trying to get through it. But for the first year, it's just basically a bunch of criminals and a few like personal trainers and stuff like this. You have to go like fight the bad guys, superhero style.
Have you started it? Do you have an artist and everything? Or
No, that one's. I mean, I have that one on the schedule for years from now, mainly because like it's I don't know, like it doesn't really fit into. People say do it in the Jawbreakers universe. Well, there's like a whole thing of superpowers there, and then I have this other one that's kind of like Mortal Kombat. I was like, this one might fit, so I think I might roll it into this kind of like Mortal Kombat Street Fighter franchise I'm launching next year. But it wouldn't be the first one; it would be like the second or the third one.
I'd roll Ghost Gun right into Jawbreakers, to be honest with you.
Ghost Gun is I don't know. There's not a lot of people like it, but the people who like it really like it.
Just the character in,
I just like my favorite part of that story is that it involves someone tripping. It's like a major part of it.
That's like very Marvel Comics, where all of their superhero origins come from stupid accidents. Like, you should have known better than that. It's like DC characters are gods on Earth. It's like, with the exception of the Flash, they were chosen.
For people who don't know Ghost Gun, and I don't really have this in actual real development, but people bring it up. I got this idea. It's like, you see ghosts and they're wearing clothes and they got like, this is my musket. The idea was that, when you first die, you kind of have all these artifacts because your brain, your soul is trying to like adjust. But eventually you go to heaven or hell. Well, what happens to, Teddy Roosevelt's glasses, his ghost glasses he was wearing when he first died? Well, they fall on the ground, but they're invisible, So some kid's out in the woods and he trips and he finds these old goggles and he can see through them. And then when you look through those, you can find all the other ghost artifacts everywhere that are just lying around. Old, they all have properties. So that's all I got.
So work on that and make that guy a character in Jawbreakers. I don't know why you wouldn't do that. It doesn't sound like a whole book.
Stranger type of things, concept.
Some of my best stuff was meant for something else. You know what I mean? Like Crib was meant for the Flash and ended up being part of Sinestro Corps. Carousel was meant for Ghost Rider and ended up in the Sinestro Corps. It's just, you have a franchise. So you have a
Ghost Rider.
I was talking to Marvel at one point about doing Ghost Rider, and I had a whole concept.
Awesome Ghost Rider.
Yes, wow. I love Ghost Rider. So I had all these spooky villains and everything, and
which motorcycle?
No, it would have been a brand new motorcycle. Like, I saw his motorcycle as an instrument of torture, of punishment. Like, it wasn't cool. The fact that Johnny Blaze had a motorcycle as Ghost Rider was because Satan thought it was ironic that this guy was spending all of his time on his dirt bike, hanging out with his dirtbag friends, when his pregnant wife, who was sick, was alone, was without him, and she died. And, anyway, Satan basically said, you like your motorcycle so much, you're working for me full time. Now you're stuck to it. And the motorcycle was this grisly, spiked rusty iron, like Iron Maiden, like a crucifix that, like, when he grabbed the handlebars, the spikes would pierce his hands and cause him pain. And then he would have to do Satan's bidding on this thing. So it was all about, Satan's got a hold of the soul of his wife and his 3 children that died in childbirth. And he's got to redeem them by doing Satan's will. And, that's the bargain. So anyway, I was going to have all these spooky villains and things like that were also in Ghost Rider's world. But never did it, never got around to it. So that's life. The thing about it is that, these ideas that you have, these concepts, you can really kind of broaden them out, change them, and then use them somewhere else. So, I mean, Ghost Gun is a pretty cool concept. Go ahead and take that just as an initial idea, build a superhero around that, and put that superhero in Jawbreakers, because the name Ghost Gun is cool. It's cool. It's a cool code name. So don't make it just this individual thing. Make him a hero. Make him a character that we can make an action figure of.
Yeah, I like names a lot. Like a cool name is worth a lot. I came up with a future jawbreaker named Stillborn, who was like this dead fetus, and they threw it in the river because they thought it was dead, but it actually grew to like adulthood. It was just like this weird alternate form of life. So it's like basically no thoughts, can't speak, but it'll follow orders. So it's like the ultimate soldier.
That's crazy. Yeah, do stuff like that, man. You've got all these kooky ideas. Turn them into be Stan Lee. Make them characters in your universe, in your world, and build and broaden out that world. Jawbreakers doesn't just have to be the same characters. We need more characters.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the other thing I really, really need to do is I've been watching this Mission Impossible. I really need like an awesome, like very active villain that they can go up with. They keep just killing people.
You need a Cobra Commander.
They need some guy who's a nemesis and smarter, faster type of thing. So that's one thing I'm gonna work on with the next one. Getting like really expanding this world and giving it like a certain tone. Just Marvel and DC, they had different tones. Like I remember Cloak and Dagger. I always said these are DC characters. They don't fit Marvel at all. These are totally DC characters.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Sure, and I mean that's the thing. Like Silver Age Flash is almost a Marvel character because again, it was a science accident, that caused him to exist. A very Silver Age.
I gotta say, as a non-DC super fan, like reading the Flash shit, where he's like, I set up the cabinets and everything's in the same place. And then the kid's like, hey Flash, can I borrow $1 to get a whatchamacallit bar? It's like, here comes some lightning. Oh shit, I got the same powers. Like, this is so stupid.
It was very stupid, and like doing Flash Rebirth, we had to decide that was like preordained. I mean, there had to be some intelligent design behind Flash. There had to be,
So like when you put the beaker on the third shelf up that has hydrochloric acid, like does it have to be the same beaker, the same amount? Does it have to be turned the same way? So like the little spout is pointing in the same direction? Does it have to be the same manufacturer? Can it be the same size? A different manufacturer?
Eobard Thawne certainly thought so. Like he wanted to replicate that moment exactly, and he's that kind of a lunatic. So I guess I don't know. Zach, here's the thing. Like DC Comics is wonderfully corny, and you have to embrace its goofiness and then try to take it seriously. That's the big thing. I always looked at Legion of Superheroes as a kid, and when I'm not reading this shit, I'm not reading Cosmic Boy. I'm not reading Cosmic Boy or Saturn Girl or Lightning Lad. Lightning Lad? I'm not reading that. But as an adult, for some reason, I was like, I'm into Wolverine, and I'm into Spider-Man. Those are cool sounding names. So it's like the Transformers versus GoBots. Like DC would be the GoBots, and Marvel would be the Transformers because the Transformers had great names. Wheeljack is a fucking awesome name for a Transformer. And then
I'm gonna name something and tell me if there's a DC character that does it, because I feel like there is. Do you know what a cornucopia is? A horn of plenty?
Yes.
Is there a character in the DC who has like a magical cornucopia that he has like on a guitar strap or whatever? Probably rainbow colored. That seems like a DC character to me.
It certainly does. It seems extremely gay. He'd be called Mayflower.
There we go.
Boom. Hi, my name's Mayflower. I've got a horn of plenty. There's plenty for everyone. And he'd be pulling out glitter, and throwing it. Like, what's his name? Who's that dude that runs around hitting people with glitter?
The guy with the wig from yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, you could do something like that. Sure, why not? And
that
secretly,
like the quintessential DC character.
You wouldn't be wrong. DC, I can picture that, like something from the Silver Age that was just so goddamn embarrassing. I liked all that stuff. I liked the fact that you could go and find something awful and shameful that DC did, and then try to make it cool. My whole thing was doing that with Composite Superman. Now everybody's doing that with Composite Superman. That's fine. But I would go and try to find something even more embarrassing. Marvel was just too hip. It was just so cool already. Everything was just so. You're 13 years old. It was so heavy metal. You know, I was into Marvel comics. I preferred it. Are you more of a Marvel guy? You always say that. I mean, you're more of a Marvel guy.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you ever? So you never got into DC?
I just dipped in, like, you know, I did, you know, the Jim Aparo Batman, Jerry Ordway Superman. Mark Waid's Flash. I loved that. Absolutely loved it. But I would just dip in on the major characters. That was it. Lobo Last Christmas or Paramilitary Christmas Special, stuff like that.
See, Lobo's cool. Now, getting back to Camilla Zhang. I mean, one of the things that I was talking. So Camilla Zhang, you know, and I had a quick little chat here where I thought she said, "Hey, we're going to talk. We should talk in person." And I said, "Sure, let's talk in person." I thought she meant on Twitter. You know what I mean? So I'm sitting here yelling at her about this, and eventually, you know, she was just like, "Hey, I meant, you know, in person." I said, "Hey, Camilla, it sounds great. Let's talk in person." And I said, I would ask you, did you use your former position at Kickstarter to politically discriminate against Comicsgate creators who may have wanted to start to crowdfund there? And she never answered that question convincingly to me because we know we've got some Comicsgaters who overheard her bragging about doing that. Doing just that at parties. You know, she said, how do we improve the world? See, this is the difference, I think, between me. I think in some ways I'm an adult and I might be a little too kind of grown up for comics. What do you mean? How do we improve the world? To improve the world, work hard, you know, earn a living, creating something or doing something worthwhile, stimulate the economy, feed the family you've built, honor those who came before you, raise your children with honor and compassion and a work ethic. Now, you can excuse me for Hunter because he's got a work ethic. That kid works hard. This is how to make the world a better place. Getting on Twitter and calling people bigot, does that make the world a better place? I mean,
who benefits by what she called Warren Ellis? I'm still in shock at that.
Well, Warren Ellis was something else here. She brought that up again. She said, hey, those accusations come with screenshots and evidence. She said, I invited you to speak in person. I said, I'm sorry, I'm gatekeeping you from my presence. Like you gatekept my friends from Kickstarter. That's fucked up. I shouldn't have said that.
I said, petty. Yeah.
I said, who made you the judge and jury of anyone? Who gave you authority, moral or legal, to decide that someone is racist and should therefore have their life ruined? And then she brings up Jay Lee. What did she say about Jay Lee here?
This one pissed me off because she's like, he's a sweetheart. It's like, your friends tried to destroy his entire life.
Tried to destroy his life. Jay Lee's a sweetheart who doesn't follow Twitter, so I don't think he should be canceled when his mistake was just not knowing the context of Comicsgate. Let me just reveal this.
You said you don't do cancel culture there, Camilla. And now you're saying
cancel.
This was just not the proper. He didn't meet the requirements to be canceled. They're not even sticking to their own story.
God damn, dude. You need to get back on Twitter just for stuff like this. I didn't even catch that, but you're 100% correct. And let me just spoil it. Jay Lee, I said, you think he didn't know? He didn't care. He doesn't like you. Jay Lee knows. Jay Lee knew. He said, I don't care. Give me that money. Jay Lee got an enormous paycheck for doing Cyberfrog comics or comic book covers, and he didn't care. I said, you understand, you know, this stuff is going to... He's like, yeah, so what? You know, Jay Lee's an adult. He's in business. He didn't care about your cancel culture.
I find that's happening to me too. You know, 2 years ago, I would have to give people a little spiel, and I'd be like, hey, you know, you're gonna be targeted. And some people back then, they're like, okay, I'll check back in a year or so.
It's
and ridiculous. Now people are like, and now people, you know what they say?
What?
They say, fuck it, use my real name. Do you know how little these other people pay me? Do you know how infrequently it is? Just use my real name.
Well,
that's collapsing anyway.
Exactly. People should not be asking this question. And some people said, you know, first of all, just to circumvent this, the truth is Jay Lee did know. And all of these people are comforting each other going, Jay Lee just didn't know. He didn't understand. Ethan tricked him. No, he knew. Okay? He knew. The other thing is, you know, oh, God, I lost my train of thought. Fuck it. God damn it. Oh, here's what it is. People said to me, Ethan, didn't you warn him? Shouldn't you warn him? No, I don't think so. I don't think it's my responsibility to warn people. I think I'm running a normal business where I have a cyber fraud comic. I'm offering to pay. Do I need to warn everybody that I've been made radioactive by crazy people on
Well,
Twitter?
yeah, it's like, why do I have to participate in my own defamation?
I don't have to. That's entirely correct. It's not my job to warn people that work for me that I am targeted constantly with harassment, and that you might also be, guilt by association, targeted, harassed, harmed in some way because you did a very normal thing and accepted a paycheck from me. That is not my responsibility to justify what these people are doing. Not at all. I will continue if I see somebody that I like and want to offer work to. I will continue to offer them work without regard for Camilla and her friends. But this idea that it's like he didn't know, he's not on Twitter. How do you not know about everybody knows about Comicsgate? Everybody knows. If you work here, it's because you go, I'm just not going to participate in that bullshit. I'm going to carry on. And that's what Jay Lee did. Now imagine if Jay Lee, this is what I told Camilla when I was yelling at her. I said, imagine if Jay Lee wasn't so canny, wasn't so good on his feet, and didn't come up with the story to talk about his dog and all this stuff. Imagine if Jay Lee was like, oh, I'm sorry, and got scared and didn't know how to deal with it. The world would have lost Jay Lee. Jay Lee would not.
Yeah, that is huge, because he started, I think I was either a senior or right after a senior in high school, 30 years ago. And so he was probably 20, he probably had been drawing every day since he was 5. So we're talking, 30 years ago. We're talking 45 years of drawing, probably every day, to become a master in his field, to be destroyed on a Sunday because Tom King is a coward.
A petty coward.
Because Tom King wanted to pass the buck. He said, oh shit, if I clarify, oh shit, oh no, it's him. Go, it's him. Jay Lee. The comic book industry is just fine if Tom King fucks off to Hollywood. Just fine. It would be a huge loss if Jay Lee disappeared, wasn't able to get work. And we're just fine if Camilla Zhang just disappears.
If she evaporates, it'll be fine. In fact, she's close to evaporating now. So if she goes away, it's not a big deal. But I mean, I had to yell at her about Jay Lee, and then I went fucking to town on her about Warren Ellis. And the reason why I had to, by the way, she's like, trust and safety team rely on hard evidence. Contrary to popular belief, I was not and am not a political commissar. This is a company that has processes in place. And I said, I don't believe you. The company that has processes in place on 2 occasions allowed duplicate bootleg versions of my cyber fraud campaigns to fund on their platform. They didn't notice that, but they noticed the bigotry inherent in jawbreakers. Zack, even worse than that. This person is pretending to understand the trust and safety team and their processes. Like
this is what I love. She's saying, FTP, fuck the police. Defund the police, and then she's like, oh, we got this secret kangaroo court. Don't worry, their decisions are always final and just. It's like, what the? There's no trust and safety. It's a bunch of SJWs gossiping with other SJWs. That's it. There's no formal process. My appeal was never actually read in any legitimate way. I got like 3 people in my head who I think contacted her, Kickstarter directly. And then you even told me, this woman knows almost nothing about the thing. She'll just repeat. He said this. You get the whole context. I didn't know. Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, we'll talk about that too. Like these people, we're legends to them. Like we're not real. Like I think Camilla Zhang, initially I wanted to fuck with her, and I just left my camera off so she had to talk to the Laughing Man. When you're talking to the Laughing Man, which is what's going on now, I'm just doing this because Zack's camera's off too. It's a little bit more intimidating than, looking at me face to face and seeing my goofy nose and everything like that, my big fat face. But she said, can you turn the camera on? And I was like, okay. And I turned the camera on, and it was just 2 people talking to each other. And it's like, you see, this is my office. This is where I work. This is what I do. Talk to you a little bit about my family. This is what I'm up to. I've got a 4-year-old daughter. And this is why I do what I do. This is what I believe in. and it has it. I cannot relate to you on any level. You are entirely a political person. What do you mean, fuck the police? What do you mean to say that in your that's the face you want to show the world? Fuck the police. You want to say that? That's what you want people to think of you? I mean, shameful. She's a little girl. I looked at her like I was her father. I'm like, shameful behavior. You know, that's not how I raised you. I would have said, that's not how I raised you. That's not the face that you should be putting forward to the world. That sums you up. You know, it's shameful. So she said this, which was really surprising. She said, if I hired Jay to do a cover, would you and your followers cancel him because he was involved with me?
No, there. That's easy answer. No.
What? She says, I do agree that we're severely divided, and it breaks my heart because I do think comics are for everyone. But hate speech and abuse cannot be condoned. This is one of the most infuriating tweets, and very strange. Like, this one made me dizzy. This is an absolutely ridiculous thing to ask me or any comic skater. This is quite simply, comic skate is a consumer movement, but we're also trying to pave the way for creators to be able to work in comics without having to deal with Camilla Zhang. I said, we're fighting
without harassment, without constant chains put around you. Oh, hey, you got to hire this person. You can't talk to this person. You can't work with this person. You got to use Kickstarter, even though they have higher fees, even though their website barely been updated since 2012. Oh, no. We're just like, it's almost sad how excited we get. Brett Booth is like, I might crowdfund within the next 10 years. We're like, oh, well, here's a bunch of advice. He's like, dumbasses, I already got a Bloodshot miniseries.
Bloodshot. What a waste of time. Your life is limited. Your lifespan is limited.
Now, here's how it isn't a waste of time. If you're in a stable industry, you absolutely do that Bloodshot miniseries. Because that's going to lead to a year on the Punisher, a graphic novel of Batman. But when it is clearly the end days, it's an idiotic waste of time to do a Bloodshot mini for whatever. And then I even saw they're like, Bloodshot #6 is back on the schedule. There's like 9 months between 2 issues. You could have done 2 graphic novels in that time and made $150,000. But you're waiting for Heather Ontos to give you the thumbs up.
Oh my God, Heather Ontos.
3/4 of a year later.
So I said, we're fighting for the right to work against people like you who spread malicious gossip to prevent us. Jay Lee included. It's not just Comicsgate. You spread malicious gossip about Jay Lee to hurt him. I said, we don't cancel people. That's you. We're here to make comics and money. Very simple. Comics and money.
One thing I said in my video earlier today is we don't cancel. Cancel takes an incredible amount of time. Cancel is effectively a lifestyle. It's a hobby. It's a campaign. We run campaigns of selling comics. We have people who have been stalking us for 3 years now. Every single day for 3 years. It's completely mentally ill. We don't have, even if we had the intention to do that, we don't have the time.
Yeah, it's just not. It isn't. It doesn't make us money. That's if you want to figure out like what we're gonna do. It's gonna be stuff that makes us money.
Can you imagine explaining to Andrea? She's like, "So what are you doing?" And early January, it's like, "Oh, I'm going to be manually scouring through 10 years of tweets with this person I don't like, and then I'm going to screenshot them, and then every time that person talks to someone, I'll jump in and then I'll share it."
Well, but that's so close to the truth. I took a nap. I woke up in time to do this conversation, and I come down to my computer, and so anyway, Camilla Zhang must have talked to people. I come down to my computer, and my Twitter's locked because Kwanzaa searched out my entire Twitter timeline and found like 2 years ago I called him a tard, and I had to delete that tweet in order to get my Twitter. He reported my Twitter for calling him a tard 2 years ago. So there was some ass madness over whatever happened today. But again, yeah, this is not what I have time to do. I'm not interested in doing that. I'm not interested in hurting these people. I'm not interested in doing anything except beating them at what they're trying to do, which is to prevent me, Zach, and all of you from making comics, enjoying comics. And, you know, it used to be, I think Comicsgate initially was, how can we fight to get these people out of mainstream comics where, you know, their activism is hurting these mainstream characters? That is no longer my concern. I'm not interested in that at all.
We were a complete failure at that. Absolute, utter failures at that. As a consolation prize.
As a consolation prize.
Me and you together have sold, what, like $3.5–4 million in comics? But yeah, so we completely failed at saving, whatever, Suicide Squad comic book, we never repaired Squirrel Girl. And we're going to have to live with that failure for the rest of our lives.
The unfuckable Squirrel Girl. That's still around. It's going to be around forever, and that's okay. We found another way. I mean, basically, it's just, if they're not going to provide people. I had to tell Camilla this, and she couldn't believe it. I said, comics are for men. And I just looked at her dead in the eyes. And she was like, and I was like, 90% of the audience for comics has been male. Always will be. Always will be.
Would anyone gasp if you said the Hallmark Channel is for women?
No, I hope not. Maybe some, but they'd be like, like that, you know. It would be a more high,
like overly dramatic. But you can say all sorts of spaces, as like SJWs like to say, are for women, are for this, are for that. But yeah, I've been going to comic stores for 30 years, and 98% of the clientele are men.
Of course.
Consistently.
Now
there are exceptions. You go to Midtown Comics in Times Square. Yeah, I would say maybe 40% are women. But that's a tourist destination, you know. It's not the typical comic book store is 95% male clientele. And you know, back in the 80s, you know, there would be, you know, Anna Senti, there'd be 5% women, and it was basically the amount of clientele that are women is the amount of professionals that are women, and it's not like that anymore. And now we have an industry that has a fundamental disconnect from their few remaining customers. They're like, you don't want Squirrel Girl looking like she has Down syndrome and pink and purple and mauve coloring? Like, what's wrong with you? It's like, there's nothing wrong with me. I just don't like that. And I'm your audience. Your phantom audience never showed up, ever. Ever.
It didn't show. They wanted an audience. I think they had an idea, or what they told people was a convincing con game. It was, if we make comics more inclusive and you know, invite more women in, then we'll double our sales. And who can argue? I had actual grown men making this argument to me. They would sit there and say, Ethan, but if we make these comic books more femmy and, you know, more women in them, more women are going to come. It's going to double our sales. Doesn't that make sense? It's just more money. You as a conservative capitalist would appreciate that, right? That's just not the way it worked. Eventually what happened was you made these comic books not serve their primary function, which was to create an escapist masculine fantasy for mostly men. There are women who enjoy comics. Sure, there are women who enjoy Star Wars, but they're the minority. Most of the money.
Another one is Star Wars. This forced thing. I always wanted to do like some sort of, you know, like Jackass. You know, you remember when they used to dress up like an old man? Have Johnny Knoxville dress like a 40-year-old woman, go to Applebee's, sit at a table with 5 gals, and try to turn the conversation toward talking about Star Wars.
Oh, that'd be great.
If it would be impossible. They would constantly be turning it away from Star Wars. Maybe if there's a Star Wars movie coming out that Friday, it's like, oh, my husband's going to take me. We had fun with the last one. And then they're immediately going to change the subject, because there's nothing that the average woman is interested in less than Star Wars and comic books.
And yet, you could get any table of men, I put it to you, and you could talk about any of this nerd shit. You could talk about Captain America. You could talk about Star Wars, and almost every man would be able to talk about it, or interested in talking about it to at least some extent.
And they would have, and for the average one, it would be a short period of time. You bring up, I remember when Venom down here was like it's hard to explain. Venom has like a special place in the heart of like Hispanic communities. I don't know. Like the Venom was the most anticipated movie of the last 20 years. Because everyone, every 30 and 40 and 50-year-old, they had this period in the 80s or 90s where they were really into Venom for a year or two. They bought a bunch of comics and it's been handed down from cousin to cousin to cousin to cousin for 30 years. Everyone had their phase of liking Venom. It was about a year or so.
Yeah.
And then when they make a movie, they're whoa, packed theaters for like 2 months for Venom.
Yeah.
But you can go to any table of 5 guys and say, hey, remember Venom? They're like, oh yeah, middle school, I was on it. I got the whatever Justice Warrior miniseries. Yeah, I was so into that. And then they turned 15 and they forgot about it for 30 years.
Yeah, Anna's in the chat. That Star Wars girl. She's saying, "Oh, I don't exist, I guess." No, Anna, you are the perfect example of what we're talking about. You would represent the 5 to 10% of women who like Star Wars, but liked it as it was. Your entire channel is about, criticizing the way Star Wars has been subverted to supposedly appeal to your demographic when you liked it originally the way it was. So your existence proves our point, and you do exist. We speak your name, Anna. All right. So anyway, this was a shocking thing to her. I had to say, look, by chasing this audience, by chasing the audience that you're looking for, which is pretty much entirely what lesbians of color, they didn't turn out. And what ended up happening was that the men who were sustaining, who were supporting, these guys go to comic book stores every week and drop $50.
They used to. Now they drop 20 or 15, or they just don't show up. I talk to people, retailers, and I say, hey, pretty much the whole country is open again. We got to wear masks, but pretty much everything is open. How's your walk-in traffic? How's your orders? They go, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's not a percentage, like it's gone. They go, we're ordering 3 shelf copies of Batman. And that's a good book that people like. People just aren't coming into the store. They're not buying shit. I used to do the $50. And even before the pandemic, it was down to $30 a week. And now it'd probably be about 20, but obviously I buy stuff to review it, even if I know it's terrible. But unsarcastically, yeah, it'd be like $20 a week on a good week. There's been some weeks where there's like 2 okay comics. And everyone's gone. There's going to be, I said it, there's going to be a super apocalypse this fall to next spring where everyone's going to realize how truly bad it was. There's no more loans. There's no more, the government's going to pay your payroll. No, it's over.
Yeah, and again, Camilla agreed with that when I said, and I know that it's over. And so I see what you're doing. I understand that you're trying to be a female version of me. And you're going to be out there, except making money at this. You're going to be trying to promote people's campaigns for them, because comic book creators, one of their biggest problems is that they're introverts. They can be catty. They like to talk a lot of shit. They're comfortable talking shit. But when it comes to just doing this and holding a conversation that is entertaining for people or anything like that, promoting their own work, they do not know how. And
somebody sent me this link. And you might be able to find it. It's like the celebration live stream for Noctera. Holy shit. It's so painful.
I don't want to see it.
It looks like a Zoom meeting of 5 people who are being executed by ISIS. At the same time.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah, they're really bad on camera. It's very awkward. By the way, Camilla's not much better. I honestly, in talking to Camilla, I really can't see her. She's very squirrely. I can't really see her getting on camera and doing this. I can't really see her actively promoting using radio to sell comics. And indeed, Scott Snyder's campaign, Noctera, is it over yet? Did it end?
Yeah, it ended at like 208,000, something like that, maybe 213. Yeah,
it did. It did what we do. What an average Comicsgate campaign does. Cecil outsold him. John Malin kicked his ass. It's like, this is he's Scott Snyder. That's the thing. He's Scott Snyder. John Malin just beat Sean Gordon Murphy. And he did it because this methodology works. This technique works. You entertain people. You become good in front of the camera. John Malin actually said a few times, he has like no pity on this whole thing. Like, oh, I'm an introvert. He's like,
oh yeah, he was
introvert.
very, very blatant. He goes, I don't give a fuck. He's like, I'm over here wearing a wig and fake eyebrows. You get out there and you sell your stuff. And he's done it. He's built this. It kind of reminds me. Have you ever I grew up in the Midwest, so it's just all flat. So one time we drove to the Rocky Mountains, and you see them far away, and you're like, okay, so. But then once you get to the base of them, you're just in awe of how huge they are, and that's kind of what John's built with his franchise of Graveyard Shift. You finally get over. You see you're 80 miles away. You see, you go, okay, it's some little peaks. Oh, that's nice. But once you get up to see what he's built, you're like, oh shit! He's massive.
His improvement from campaign to campaign is unbelievable, and it's because he's consistent. He's interacting with his fans.
He doesn't kill his characters.
He doesn't kill his characters. By the way, this is pretty funny. A lot of people were saying Stan Lee's a legend. Ethan's not as famous as Stan Lee, which is a funny conversation because, of course, I'm going to pretend that I am. Somebody sent this link, which is pretty funny. This is a normal person. This is a sportscaster upon hearing the death of Stan Lee. And this is a nice reality check for us. Here we go.
Eddie in Hoboken. What's up, Eddie?
Hey, what's up, Mike?
What's happening?
Hey, Mike, Stan Lee died today. Did you ever meet the guy? What do you think of him?
Stan Lee.
Yeah, Stan Lee.
I don't
Never
know
heard
who
of
he
Stan
is.
Lee?
Don't know who he is, no.
Jesus.
Who is he? Who is he?
I mean, this is a guy. Oh, I'm cycling now. Damn it. This is a guy who's old enough. Like, he's of the right age. He should have been there as a kid reading those Silver Age Spider-Man comics.
He probably did. He had a 2-year phase, and then he turned 14, and he never read them again.
It was he. And then somebody tells him he goes, whatever, who cares? It's the funniest video. And it's just like a bitch smack against all these people who are just like, the idea that comic books or comic book creators have ever permeated mainstream culture in terms of the creative.
Also, you got the whole thing. What was the last 3 years of Stan Lee's life? It was misery. They were being eaten by sharks. Do you remember when they tried to Me Too Stan Lee?
Yeah, of course.
He's groping his carer. He doesn't know where he is. He's probably trying to not fall out of his wheelchair or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it was what they did to Stan Lee in the end was absolutely horrible. They exploited him. They brought him. They wheeled him from convention to convention. Made him sit there and sign. And I told people my little insightful story about Stan Lee, which I wanted to hold to myself for a long time. But I finally just told it because I think it's pretty. People are like, Stan Lee was a nice guy. Stan Lee had a persona, but I was alone with Stan Lee, and he was signing a stack of books in a room, and I was in there with him, and he looked miserable. And he was grumbling. And I said, Stan, why are you upset? I'm sitting here thinking the persona is the real guy. Stan, why are you upset? Like, these are your fans. He's like, my fans. They're going to sell these comics as soon as they get a hold of them on eBay. He's like, they're not fooling me for a minute. And they're just putting comics in front of him. He's signing them. He's tired. He's old. And I go, I don't think so. I think these are probably going to be heirlooms for these people that you're signing them. These people love you. They're your devoted fans. And he goes, and this is a quote. He says, my fans. He's like, line them up against the wall and give me a Tommy gun. And I thought I was going to fucking die. I mean, he said it as Stan Lee. He said it in his voice. Line them up against the wall and give me a Tommy gun. I laughed so hard. The guy was in his 90s and he needed to be at home or on a beach, in a chair, like enjoying a drink. The final years of his life were pure torture. and people just exploiting him, taking his blood, his nurses taking his blood and mixing it with ink to sign blood-soaked Black Panther comics with Stan Lee's blood. Fucking disgusting. And then a bunch of people came out and Me Too'd him, and everybody went up. These people who claim to worship Stan Lee now, were horrible to him. Absolutely horrible to him in the last year.
Rob Liefeld. I bring this. They degraded him for 15 years straight, and now they all love him. No, I remember being on forums in like 2008 talking about Rob Liefeld. It was no. You try to destroy him. You try to destroy people, and then the other thing I love is then they pretend like, we support the rebels. Oh, Todd McFarlane, he's a rebel. When he started, y'all were trying to destroy him too.
Yeah, it's this is a good sign. Here's the thing. I gotta say, I think the history books are going to look fondly at us. It doesn't matter what people say now. I think time appreciates people like you and me, and John Malin, and even Cecil. People are going to appreciate Cecil someday. I think. I don't know. This is the wraparound cover, Zach, for Warts and All that I'm showing right now on the screen. Yeah, it's I love drawing stuff like this. This is what sells comics. When a Spider-Man comic looks like this, a superhero comic looks like this is what people want. Hot chicks with their boobies. They want monsters, they want supervillains, they want heroics, they want explosions. This is exciting. This is escapism, and that's what I'm bringing with Cyberfrog Warts and All, which we are going to launch a couple of, maybe 5 days or so, maybe Sunday. I'll launch it Sunday. Today's Tuesday. I'll launch it Sunday. Sunday, we're going to launch Cyberfrog Warts and All. It's going to have the hardcover. It's going to have a special edition hardcover with a special exclusive slipcase. And a bonus comic book called Frogapalooza, which is going to collect all the stuff I did before I was even published. Like all the early shitty Cyberfrog versus Wolverine, I'm going to put in there. I'm going to have to, I don't know what I'm going to have to do to change Wolverine a little bit, but I'm going to put in all these little comics that I did when I was learning to draw in one magazine. Bonus comic, we're going to do Unforgettable Tales 3 is going to be available there. And I realized Unforgettable Tales 3, which has never seen print before, ever, actually wraps up the Hall of Heroes tale. So those 3 issues make one. I should reprint them all as a trade paperback. See, that's using the old noggin. It's going to have Unforgettable Tales 1 and 2 line art variants, little miniatures, paintable Cyberfrog miniatures are going to be available. It's going to be baseball caps, hoodies, beanies, all kinds of cool stuff. It's going to be a really, really fun campaign. I'm looking forward to launching it on Sunday. And I will see you guys. There. In the meantime, Impossible Stars by your boy Zack. We're promoting this one tonight. Thank you so much for every time I refresh it, Zack.
Amazing.
Yeah. $45,751. Let's get this to 46 tonight. Let's get it to 50 tonight. That would be amazing. Thank you guys for your support. Also, Cyberfrog Wrecked Planet is still available. I'm just $25 away from $86,000. So I guess the next backer is going to push that. And Jawbreakers Grand Bazaar. Also, this is Jawbreakers 3. You can get Jawbreakers 2 in this.
I think I'm gonna adjust that after this. I'll put a 3 there.
Yeah, I think people would like to see that so they understand. It is a little bit disorienting, to not know what number this is. So think of these as movies. Again, I think the Harry Potter, the Twilight books, those books, all of that stuff is kind of the model that I'm thinking of when I'm releasing these graphic novels. But
yeah, J.K. Rowling didn't write one Harry Potter and skip to like a Sherlock Holmes mystery. You do 8 or 9 of them, make $1 billion, and then you do a spin-off in the same universe.
Yeah, of course.
By the way, watching SJWs turn on J.K. Rowling is that's my jam. It's literally the only books they've read in their entire life.
I
and
love
they got mad because she said that only women have periods.
I think the whole trans thing, I think people are turning on it a little bit because I gotta say, like, it's like, will you stop dehumanizing transgendered women? Yes, I'll do that. I'll stop that. Even though transgenderism has been the butt of so many jokes by all of these people who are now like Howard Stern made trans women into a disgusting joke for his entire career. So that's it's normal to laugh at a man
You know what?
wearing a wig.
Howard Stern at least admits he got woke for money.
That's true.
He said this flat out. He goes, "People, oh, you changed." He goes, "Yeah, I changed. I make a lot more money now." Like, you're a hypocrite. He goes, "Yeah, I am."
There it is.
He's like, well, okay.
When you're a billionaire, you can say shit like that, and it doesn't really matter. Yeah, sure, whatever. But I'm willing to do that. Like, I'm willing to be kind. Are you willing to say transgender women are women? Okay, now you're asking me. You're gaslighting me. You're asking me to say something that's clearly not true.
Yeah, when you say you want tolerance, and tolerance is actually a pretty low bar to meet. Tolerance just means I'll just put up with you.
Right.
And I won't try to harm you. I'll rent an apartment to you. I'll hire you for a job. I'll support you getting married or running for office or whatever. But now it's like you have to believe what they believe, and even if you don't think it's true. And now it's just like, okay, bro, only women have periods. Come on, this is stupid.
Right. You don't have a womb. You don't get periods. Okay, all those things. So J.K. Rowling is just like, I'm not going to go along with it. I have enough money in the bank now. Thank you. Those of you who are asking me to lie, who are canceling me, you gave me billions of dollars, and now I'm just going to say whatever I want to say. And I like it because I don't like Harry Potter at all. I fucking hate Harry Potter. But that's incidental. The fact that I don't like Harry Potter has nothing to do with the fact that I do greatly admire how those books were rolled out. That whole idea of making kids excited about one big installment of an ongoing story without putting a number on the cover or anything like which we're thinking about doing. But constantly putting out these new books, keeping the old ones in print, and building a franchise, a whole world, and escape it. That is awesome. That is way better than the current comic book direct market model that's going on now. So I admire that. I guess now I admire her as a person. But I can't stand Harry Potter. I wish it Twilight, the same thing. I admire how
I saw that Fantastic Beasts, and it was actually okay. First one. It was just basically a generic monster movie, like a fun monster movie. It was fine.
I guess I'd watch it. I have all the Harry Potter movies now. I bought them actually for Kaylee, and she didn't care. I bought them for Christmas, so I have them in my office. I saw all the Twilight movies. They were terrible. But again, how do we capture that kind of enthusiasm? How do we get people excited about our new installments of comics the same way that the Harry Potter kids got excited? I guess all that energy is going towards manga. How?
Hire Illa the Killer to manage your Kickstarter.
Boom! Illa the Killer. All right, let's get back to Illa the Killer here because this nearly killed me with rage. By the way, Zach, this is my office here. I added these Welcome to Las Vegas stools by my bar to match my Welcome to Las Vegas neon sign. Do you like it?
Yeah, it's a nice stool sample.
Thank you. All right. So in any case, that's what I tweet about, Zach. In this on this platform. Okay. So she's saying, "Are you going to talk to me in person, or was that just a front?" Oh, here we go. There is plenty of evidence, she says, that Warren Ellis groomed. Oh God, this pisses me off. There's plenty of evidence that Warren Ellis groomed young women and used, unconsciously or not, his fame to assert his sexual advances. The women he hurt have every right to speak out, just as you do, don't you think?
You know what hurt them?
What?
Him getting a Netflix deal.
Is that what it was? Do you think that's what set them
Yeah,
up?
it's 15, 20 years ago. They exchange something for some of his shine, and they think they're going to be the next so and so. And then 15 years later, he's on Netflix, and they got nothing. So they all ganged up to destroy his life.
Yeah. She. God bless Von Klaus. He says, being mad about getting dumped is fine. Bitching about it is fine. Setting up a website to make it seem like he abused. Setting up a website to make it seem like he abused
I
women.
couldn't believe that was real when I went to it. It felt like it was something like redirects to, The Onion or the Babylon Bee or something like that. Like, this is a goof, right? This is like a joke. Like, and then he didn't marry me. There was literally some of those stories. It's like, he didn't tell me he was married. I'm like, is this from the 1800s? What is this, like Jane Eyre?
Yeah.
My entire life, every show is made like divorce, infidelity, all that stuff. It's just like a joke. Cheating, ha ha ha. And now it's like, and his whole thing was he was like an edgy rebel. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
No, y'all are mad that he has a Netflix deal and he's, got a castle, and it's 15 years later and you traded something for something, and now you're empty-handed and he's doing great. So you destroyed him. You're still empty-handed and now he's destroyed.
It goes to show that I guess that's right. I don't know what the motivations for any of this is, but it must be like, hey, he's got a Netflix deal and we didn't get, because I mean, I said this, my response to this bullshit was the women Warren Ellis interacted with were adults engaging in consensual sexual activity. He literally did nothing wrong. And by the way, when I say stuff like this, I get people subtweeting me, retweeting me, going, "See, I told you Ethan was the garbage person," because I'm pointing out what is absolutely true. He literally did nothing wrong except use adult women. So that's kind of wrong. You don't want to use people, but you can. There's nothing really illegal about it. There's nothing that's criminal, except use adult women who were also using him.
Absolutely. They were using him for shine, as they say. Introduction, all that type of stuff, and he used them for the obvious.
He used them for sex. They
and
were
both
using
of them
him
knew both of them knew the deal. They didn't say it out loud. There was no, oh, yeah, this is like the George Clooney of comics. No, it's a guy who looks like a boiled potato getting, favors, and they're hoping he's going to intro or hire or this, that, and the other thing.
That's what it was. So you traded your chastity, your virtue. Can I use the word virtue as though it's the Middle Ages? You traded your virtue for, and I love the word shine. Thank you, Mags, for Mags Visaggio for introducing us to the word shine. I wanted some of his shine. That's what you did. And you offered your honor. He honored your offer, as they say.
What is that from?
I don't know. I went to one of those middle-age fairs. What are those called?
No, that's a lyric somewhere. It sounds like one.
Well, he said. So I went to this middle-age festival, and there was one of these jesters that was walking around telling jokes, and he said, and the one thing I remember, I was like 12. He said, she offered her honor, he honored her offer, and then all night long he was honor and offer. And I just thought that was very clever as a 12-year-old. Anyway, you're creating a world in which everyone's former sexual partners. This is a nightmare. Can you imagine if, and you could do this to anyone with the internet. You're creating a world in which
another one you said earlier is like, I think you might have moved past this. Like, we can live in my world, or we can live in yours, where everyone's scared of each other all the time.
Yeah, of course. How do you're creating a world of fear? You're creating a world where everyone is afraid of each other, and people are failing left and right, and they can't communicate. But this is serious, because this applies to everyone. You can say, well, I align with the right politics, so I'm not going to get in trouble. But everyone has.
Didn't say Scott Snyder. All he did was go on a weekend with his family 2 years ago and get lectured, and they've had it out for him ever since. And they will until they destroy him. They will hold that grudge for 20 years.
Yeah, how weird is this? It's all, the grudges are strange. I don't even understand them. But imagine
grudges take time. It takes time to manage and remember. You keep doing this. You're like, Remember when so and so? I was like, I forgot.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that person tried to take down your Patreon. I forgot. I'm busy. Like,
Well, right. But this is, I mean, this is, oh my God, they're just opening the, see, here's the thing. It's the way that Camilla, I keep wanting to call her Camilla Khan. I don't know where that's coming from. Camilla Khan, Camilla Zhang. Here's the thing. It's how you say something. It's the words that you use. The words that, the way people use words, the expressions they create, this is how you make people feel something. And SJWs are entirely about feelings. This is nonsense. There is plenty of evidence that Warren groomed young women. Groomed. The word groomed is a bad thing, right? We know groomed now. We
and when she
associate
says
it.
young, she's talking about adults.
She's talking about adults. Groomed, we associate that with pedophilia. Young women, we're thinking young women, like how young? And used unconsciously or not. This is I'm feigning, skepticism. He might be, maybe he's a good person, but maybe he's not.
Oh, she's trying to destroy his entire life because it will make her feel good. It will make her feel like a virtuous, conquistador or something like that. This is a level of maliciousness and evil. It almost is hard to define. She's trying to get him to blow his brains out so she can look like a good person.
That's right. His fame, he used his fame to assert his sexual advances. Well, that's what people do. And that's what people have always done. There's absolutely nothing wrong with going, look, I'm an ugly guy, but I've just become rich and or famous. And now finally I get to put my penis into the JJ.
Look at Ellen DeGeneres and all of her girlfriends.
Wow. That's not where I was going, but yeah, sure. Why not?
None of those women are like, oh my God, Ellen's hot. They said, oh my God, Ellen's rich.
That's correct. She's powerful. She's rich. She's rich and she's powerful, and she can maybe do stuff for me. So they let her put her tongue in the JJ, and it all comes down to putting things in the JJ, Zach. Ultimately, I hope. This is normal. And I said to Camilla in our conversation, I said, "Would you cancel Mick Jagger? He's fucked bitches every day. He's used women, dumped them every single day of his life since 1961. Are you going to make it so that," I said, "This is the problem with what you've done. You've denied the rest of the world Warren Ellis comics. And Warren Ellis, I like his writing. He is no longer going to write comics."
I don't really like it, but it's the same thing with Jay Lee. This is someone who has a unique talent, who polished it and made himself more skillful. And it's 30 years, and the world is poorer if you lose his talent and his stories. If Camilla Zhang goes and sells car insurance, we're all fine.
Yeah, we don't need her. She's absolutely useless. But I'll put it to you that we do need me. We do need Warren Ellis. We especially need
Jay
me.
Lee, especially
Jay Lee, sure, but we really need me. Like if I would be an incalculable loss to the art world. So these things, this person, and this is a reason for everybody to get angry. This person and her friends,
allies, they don't have friends.
Allies, tried successfully. It has denied the world any more Warren Ellis comics. If you liked Transmetropolitan or anything that Warren did, and many people did, he's a very, very good, funny, dark, mean writer. I really like his stuff.
What was that line of his you liked?
Oh, he said
about mud.
He said on his old chat room, he said, "You're dumber than mud that's been fucked by retards." And this is 2004, when you were allowed to say things like that. That is an incredible insult because mud is dumb. Like mud has a 0 IQ, I would say. But imagine if you were mud that had been sexually assaulted by mongoloids, I would say. That is about as dumb and gross and worthless as you could possibly get. So that is who we have lost. The world has lost the writing of Warren Ellis because of this.
Well, there wasn't just stuff like this. I remember. Do you remember Deviate from Wildstorm?
Yes, yeah.
So I think it was the first issue, and it was like evil Gen 13, but the evil kids still had like they were still growing up. So at one point, a character goes up in Manhattan in a helicopter. She's never been there before. She looks down, and she's kind of like overcome by the beauty of it. She goes, "It looks like someone threw all the stars at the ground." And Illa the Killer doesn't make up beautiful phrases like that.
No, fuck that.
Any of the people that she would promote, the SJW hires, they can't come up with beautiful things like that. All they can do is break things and hurt people and take enjoyment from it. They enjoy fear. They enjoy seeing people in pain. They especially enjoy people lowering themselves before them, which Scott Snyder has done, which Tom King has done. If they just go away, we're all the better for it.
We have to make this go away, and it's not that we need to make Camilla Zhang go away. I don't care if she comes or goes, but her attitude, her beliefs, the things that she does, the people that she associates with, inspires to do the same thing that she does, same things that she do. We have to make this stop. We have to kill social justice warriors. We have to. Hold on, let me back that up. Warriorism, not them. We have to end cancel culture. We have to, as a society, end cancel culture because it kills beautiful things. It kills beauty. SJWs don't believe in beauty. They want to end it. They want to end beautiful women in comics.
Fourth Age has done a bunch of really great videos about this. This subject of eliminating beauty. I was just reviewing this Wonder Woman story from I think early 70s. Every time she comes into a scene, they mention that she's ravishing or beautiful. The first power she is given is the beauty of Aphrodite.
Mm-hmm.
Then she gets intelligence and speed and strength and all that stuff. Literally, it's the first thing you mention. And they mention that the Amazonians are about beauty and peace. And now what are the Amazonians? They're a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, a bunch of lesbians.
They're a bunch of warlike dudes.
Zach, let me ask you a question. You have a choice. You can look like Brad Pitt, or you can be 10 IQ points smarter.
Say Brad Pitt.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's just like there's no doubt, like, beauty is
I think you need to make it more IQ points because I don't know how the IQ scale works, but I don't think 10 is like, it's not like you go from Samuel Stearns to the leader by going up 10 points.
Oh, I see what you mean. 10 points is pretty good, but let's say you have a 150 IQ, which is genius level. You could communicate with very, very intelligent people and hold your own with a 150 IQ. Or Brad Pitt.
Yeah, Brad Pitt.
Yeah, even still, like, there's no amount of intelligence that you could grant me that I wouldn't rather be sexually attractive.
You've seen Once Upon a Time in America, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the point where he's going to go fix an antenna on the roof? And you think he's going to take a ladder, and he just does these 3 quick hops, and he's on the roof?
Yeah.
That is one of the best setups for this guy can fight 10 dudes.
Yeah.
Once you see that level of agility and strength and the ease, later when he fights like 5 people at once, they don't have to establish that he can do that. Even when he fights Bruce Lee, you're like, yeah, did you see how he hopped on this freaking roof? Yeah, of course he can.
Yeah, I would like to be that. I wish I could be like that, But in any case, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah. So somebody like Camilla Zhang, cancel culture, took Warren Ellis from you. And whether or not you appreciate that right now, whether you feel like that is, whether you are enjoying Warren Ellis comics or not, it doesn't matter. You have been denied Warren Ellis comics because of cancel culture. And that's something you should take seriously. That is shameful. That is evil. These people have no right to take that from you. They had no right to take his career over something. And by the way, when I was talking to Camilla, she's like, well, what about Eddie Berganza? And I was like, Eddie Berganza was an editor that was literally, sexually assaulting, allegedly people in the office with him. He needed to go. I
Well, that's what
understand
they
that.
do. And one of the reasons that Warren was destroyed is because it was, what was that guy, Cameron Stewart?
Mm-hmm.
That guy had actual underage women,
Yeah.
but he's not that famous. So then these women brought up these 20-year-old allegations about Warren Ellis, and then you got Daily Beast, where it says underage women, and it has a picture of Warren Ellis. He's destroyed. His life is over.
You can use Eddie Berganza and Cameron Stewart, right? Like guys who are legitimately doing things that are either going to get you fired from the company or criminal, and you can let's shuffle in a little. And Scott Snyder, if you're listening, this is going to happen to you. Let's kind of put Scott Snyder in there too.
They
For
were
making
already prepping. They were saying not love bombing, but emotional labor,
Mhm.
bad boundaries. That Whisper Network article literally showed them plotting and kind of like ginning each other up. Oh yeah, no boundaries. Oh, emotional labor. Oh, Scott, he's chatty on the phone. That's it.
What a great scam this is. What a great grift this is to take actual people who look deserve to take society's consequences for things that they're doing that are criminal or immoral or something like that, and then kind of jimmy in your own enemies and sort of
It's a bundle.
it's a bundle. Let's get rid of
We're gonna bundle Warren Ellis. He has a Kickstarter that makes me angry because I hooked up with him 20 years ago and I don't have one. And then this guy who, we got Eddie Berganza, who, that guy should have been in a rubber room somewhere. And then you got Cameron Stewart, actual underage. And let's just bundle them all together like they're the same thing.
And it's going to be you next. Those of you who are listening, those of you who are in mainstream comics who are listening to me right now, because Camilla Zhang is in the title of this stream, and we've got 2,162 people watching. I know there are people in mainstream comics right now. Understand, you're next. You're next. Whether or not you've actually done anything that is actually immoral or illegal, have you pissed anyone off?
Do you have anything that they desire that they can't get through merit? And a little bit of luck.
They're going to find somebody. They're going to find another one of these pedophiles in comics, and they're going to cancel them. Society is going to cancel them, and they're going to include you in all those news stories, acting like there's a pandemic or an epidemic of sexual crisis, sexual problems, and assault in comics, and they're going to include you right next to that pedophile. That's exactly what happened to Warren Ellis. And it is it's shameful. It's infuriating because now I don't get any more Warren Ellis comics over this. Grooming, she says. Grooming, I say, is done to children. Stop using word. Grooming is incredibly harmful and manipulative. It's borderline pedophilia. It isn't pedophilia unless the person who is on the other end of the interaction is a child. If it's an adult, it has nothing to do with pedophilia. But thank you for putting that in there. And by the way, there's no such thing as borderline pedophilia. Can you imagine?
Well, there's this line that someone says that whenever a sentence has the word but, everything before the but doesn't matter. What you mean is the thing after, comma, B-U-T, and that's what you really mean. Borderline, it's like it's written in like some sort of disappearing ink.
Mm-hmm.
You just put that there so you don't get sued. But the point is to stain him. And then people go, oh, that's just too weird. I'm just going to stay away.
Yeah, like whatever this is,
this person is saying, I believe in kindness. Comics are for everyone, but you will blithely help destroy a man's life. You're trying to get him to kill himself. Because what's left for him?
You know what? When we originally got together to stream about what was going on to Warren Ellis, what was happening to him, I titled the live stream, and I changed the title. Because I didn't, I thought it might be too bombastic. But the title was "The Attempted Murder of Warren Ellis," and I wish I'd kept that title up there because I think that's what this is.
That before. We've seen, a developer, a game developer, and he had an ex-girlfriend, and then she says, "Let me tell you about my rape." And then she segues in like the second or third paragraph to talking about just a shitty relationship. But it wasn't the rape. That was like a different relationship. The guy kills himself like 5 days later?
Yeah.
Yeah, you use Twitter, you use social media to reduce someone's life choices to living with a relative and mowing lawns for a living in your neighborhood, or blowing your brains out.
hmm
That's it. You get two
But
choices in life.
but living with the disgrace. And this is the other thing that I told Camilla. Camilla was like, "Yeah, but look at you. You did great. Like, what, you think you're oppressed?" I was like, "Bitch, I have a 4-year-old daughter that's going to grow up one day and Google her father and see all of these horrible articles that were written calling me a Nazi, saying that I abused and harassed women, trans people, gays, and all of this stuff. And all of those articles are lies, and they were created maliciously to destroy me, I guess temporarily. I don't know. That stuff follows me around forever. That is going to be a part of my life. That stuff doesn't go away. Yes, absolutely. I am oppressed. These people tried to do the same thing to me that they've done to Warren Ellis. I would call it attempted murder. I don't think they gave me much of a choice. And I said to her, I said, "Look, this is an awfully high price to pay to work in comics. There are people like you, malicious people, who sit there and ruin people's lives in permanent ways." That was my reputation that got taken from me. I would have happily left DC Comics and gotten out of your way if you would have just not done all of this stuff that is going to follow me around, calling me a bigot, calling me a homophobe, calling me a Nazi. I got to deal with that. I still got people calling me Nazi. That's a permanent thing that you've done to me. That is a permanent harm. And like I told that pussy, what's his name, the writer that called me up. Fuck, I can't remember his name. He writes Venom, Zach.
Donnie Cates.
Donnie Cates. Like I told that pussy, Donnie Cates. I will never forgive that. That's never going. I will never. Under what circumstances would I ever forgive that? Would I ever move on from that and stop being angry about it? I'll never stop being angry about it. Everything that I do from here on out is going to be kind of cast through that lens. All of my actions are now going to be kind of drawing back to that one point in time when these people tried to ruin my life. And the fact that I survived it and flourished is luck. It's because I'm incredibly charming, handsome, devil may care, very talented, Zach. These are all things that you've said.
More seriously, you have a certain personality type that allows you to survive under these type of attacks that would drive someone else to suicide. But they didn't know that for sure. They were willing to risk your life to make themselves feel better for a short amount of time.
Yeah, that's right. So, the same thing is happening here to Warren Ellis. This is going to follow him around forever. He is never going to forget this.
And I thought he was way older than he is because, no offense, he looks like shit. He's like 4 years older than us, I think. Maybe 5. Yeah. He could easily have worked for another 20 years. It's right, you know what I mean? You don't have to leave your house.
Like, he could have worked for the rest of his life. And who knows
Will
what.
Eisner worked to the day he died, and he was still he never got that old man shaky hand or bad eye type of thing like Jack Kirby got. He was doing good stuff till the day he died.
I hope Warren Ellis can surmount this. I hope he can. I hope he can rise up over this, realize what was done to him, and I hope other people realize it too. And it does kind of come down to us. I mean, if people are afraid, people don't want to get involved in this. People don't want to stand up for people who are being canceled. Now, some people who are being canceled deserve to fucking be canceled. Okay, I mean, it's like Eddie Berganza, not canceled, fired.
That canceling is, they created canceling. Now they say it doesn't exist. I don't believe in canceling anything. If someone's that bad enough, I'm pretty sure there's a grand jury that will indict them. Yep. And if you let it go by too long, then, I mean, I saw this comic from a couple years ago. It's edited by Eddie Berganza. Guess who the writer was?
Who?
Sam Humphries. Yeah. And that stuff about Eddie Berganza, it's been known for 10 years. Look at that comic book legal defense fund. They knew about that guy. That was a no shit sexual assault, like straight out of a episode of Law and Order Special Victims Unit.
Mm-hmm.
The whole industry knew about it for like 10 plus years.
They felt helpless to do anything about it, I guess. Everybody's happy to work alongside people until there's a lot of cowardice. A lot of cowardice in comics.
Like I said, if someone's attacking you in comics, it's because they've determined you are not a threat. There are people who have attacked you every day for 3 years and they're perfectly fine. I mean, they're broke, but they're fine.
Yeah.
You haven't harmed them in any way. But if you get on the wrong side of a couple of these broke communists, they're going to make your life miserable. Absolutely. As miserable as they can.
Well,
and then they're going to clothe themselves in, I believe in kindness. You're trying to get Warren Ellis to murder himself. Right? What? How do you believe in kindness? Fuck the police. Okay.
Fuck the police?
Where's the kindness for the police?
All right. So the imbalance of power is just the tip of the iceberg, says Illa the Killer, Camilla Zhang. Again, this is incredibly manipulative. This is a stupid tweet. The imbalance of power is just the tip of the iceberg. Well, you know what? There's always an imbalance of power in sex. Always. You know, until you get married, and then it goes the other way. But there's always an imbalance of power. Powerful men are attractive to women who don't have power. Powerful women, I guess, the same way to men. The imbalance of power is great. That's what sex is all about. Grooming, I say, is done to children. Let's make this clear. It isn't done to adults. When adults do it, it's called seduction. So you're a 24-year-old and you're talking to Warren Ellis and you're really impressed with him because even though he looks like a bearded egg, and he does, you know, you really like his artwork. You've seen him in a magazine. You know, he's smart. He says you're dumber than mud that's been fucked by retards. That made you laugh. Made me laugh. You know, and suddenly you're on the phone with him. You're texting him. And he asked you to send him a picture of your nipple. You know. Remember when Cecil did that to me? That's called seduction. You know, it's not called grooming. Cecil, you know.
Where's the power between you and Cecil?
I'd see that's the problem. Yeah, what is the power dynamic between me and Cecil? Don't know. But Warren Ellis is asking these women for pictures of their nipples. He meets up with them when he comes to the United States. He says, do you want to meet up? The implication is that we're going to have sex. They have sex with him. And he's done with you then. He's done. Might be manipulative. Yeah, that's manipulative. But all human interaction is, including this. Everything is manipulation.
I read a handful of those accounts, and it was literally, we talked, and then 3 years later, we kind of we lost interest.
Yeah,
like that's literally the thing that his life has been destroyed over. He didn't marry every single woman.
He ghosted us. They said he ghosted.
No,
us.
it's not ghost. It's like because slowly moved apart after like 3 years.
In some cases, yeah. This guy got a lot of women. They all had hairy underarms, though.
I don't know if that's...
It is true, Zach. Now, you're going to have to take my word for it, and I'm not asking you to come down one way or the other on this, but they had hairy underarms. Too? No.
The woman who over to shave her armpits. And it's quite prominent in a few shots.
Yeah. I don't believe in that. I firmly believe that women should shave their underarms. You know, shave their underarms and shave everything facing the floor. I would say that. If it's facing the floor, shave it, ladies. You know. You don't need to look like, they don't need to be vines and cobwebs hanging down from you. Shave it. All right, thank you, Zach. Zach didn't express an opinion about that. That's fine. All right, so lots of human interaction can be manipulative, but to compare it to pedophilia as though these women were little kids does a disservice to your feminism. Now, isn't that interesting? We talk about manipulation. Women are either powerful, you know, she queens, yes, Queen Slay, or when they need to destroy you, they're guileless, innocent little children who got used, who were manipulated and groomed.
It really is a nightmare world they've created. It's a nightmare industry. The things you have to put up with. Like you said, nobody signed up for this. This is why, you know, billionaires don't run for president. Like,
Yeah.
all the shit you have to go through.
That's why people go, why is everybody who's running for president crazy? And I would say or why are they all narcissists? You have to be just to survive.
Why do you think Michelle Obama doesn't want to be president? She knows what you got to do to get president. She's like, screw that.
Oprah Winfrey too.
Yeah, even Oprah Winfrey's a little nutty, but she's like, oh, I got to show you like all my taxes for 20 years? Hell no. It's ridiculous. So yeah, I mean the amount of stuff we've had to go through to make some pretty standard normie fair comics is insane. I mean, and now it's pretty crazy. I mean, the good thing is that we're making good money, but other people have to put up with all this craziness for a fifth as much money, and then that's really not worth it.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, Zach, if you had said to me, the comics are a stupid career. I mean, it really, they're not important. I know that you think that they matter. They don't. You know, if you had said to me, Ethan, you're going to get to do comic books, which is your dream job. But at the end of your time at mainstream, you're going to make six figures in comics for about 10 years. At the end of that time period, you are going to be slimed as a Nazi. You're going to be harassed all over the internet. You are going to have your life turned upside down. All of this stuff, that's going to happen to you by the people who formerly were working with you and bought your books and supported you. Suddenly, you're going to be seen as a monster. You want to do it? I would have been like, nope.
Yeah, nobody's taking. Only like a crazy narcissist would take that deal.
Java the Cuck says, deal. Yeah, I would have said no. No. I don't want that. I thought I had a stupid, silly job that was fun and that would be creatively fulfilling. I didn't realize that there would be an influx of crazy left-wing activists who made it their personal mission to root out people who, by the way, all of this is about who I voted for in November of 2016. All of it.
Absolutely.
All of it. So I didn't know that was going to be a thing that was going to happen. I didn't know. So getting into this. So anyway, Camilla talks to me in private, Zach. And after this conversation, she begins to get angry with me. And she sends me a message in private, which I will read to you. Since I'm not going to show it, I don't care. My whole attitude, by the way, is that when it comes to private messages, if I didn't ask you to message me, this is not a consensual thing. I will share your messages if I need to, if I want to. And expect no privacy from me under those circumstances. So don't send me harassing shit. She said, "Hi there, DMing you so we can chat in person." I said, "Hi, Camilla. So is this in person?" quote unquote, or do you want to talk on a live stream? She said, "I would rather not talk on a live stream. Why do we need an audience?" Why do we need an audience? I said, because you might want to convince someone other than just me that you aren't a danger to creative people. And so her entire thing, she said, "I'm not trying to convince, I'm trying to connect on a human level. I don't think I'll convince anyone of anything." And I just sent her the link to StreamYards, and we spoke for like an hour. In private, and the conversation was very strange. She, I wanted to talk to her about cancel culture, about what she was doing. She had no clue about anything, or she pretended to have no clue about anything regarding Comicsgate. She said, "Yeah, well, as long as you don't call us cum dumpsters." And I said, "You're talking about my friend Zack, Richard C. Meyer." With regards to Heather Antos, I said, "Camilla, Zack called her a fake geek girl when she took a picture of herself with a milkshake. He called her a fake geek girl. And for that, this person, Heather Antos, stalked his entire life, worked with crazy psychos in private. We have the proof. We can show you the proof. To find out that he worked at PayPal at one time, tried to destroy him, get him fired from PayPal, tried to take down his Patreon, which was some of his livelihood, tried to get his channel taken down. God only knows how many times. Spread rumors that he was a white nationalist and a white supremacist. Did everything that they could, schemed in private with others to get him assaulted at conventions. Zack responded to this, making videos pointing out what was happening to him. And then finally, in a private video, he called her a cum dumpster. And that got blasted out by one of his crazy stalkers. Nobody was meant to hear that except for his biggest fans. That got blasted out by one of his crazy stalkers. And that became a problem that he needed to answer for. And I will tell you, Camilla, that under the circumstances of what Zack went through at the hands of this powerful person, she was an editor at Marvel Comics. He could have called her anything he wanted to. You want to call her a cum dumpster? Those wouldn't be my words. I'd call her just a stupid whore who needs to mind her own business. But he chose cum dumpster, and he was entitled. She said, I wasn't aware of any of that, Zack. She said, I wasn't aware of any of that. Well, there's a narrative that goes around that these people have all convinced themselves of. I said, Zack is a guy who makes videos in his car criticizing comics. A lot of people have noticed that there's a problem with comic books. Comic books are meant for men. And lately, they've been soy. She said, well, what does soy mean? I said, effeminate. That's what it means. They're no longer providing the same satisfaction, the same punch, the same escapist fantasy for their male audience that they used to provide. They've become soy. And Zack and a lot of people are interested in why that's happening. And Zack was making videos in his car that were explaining that to people in a very, very substantive, fascinating way, informative way, through the eyes of one of comics' biggest fans. And in a way that made people comfortable. They wanted to hang out with Zack. And for this, because he had gathered at that point 40,000. Remember, Zack, when you had 40,000 subscribers?
Yeah.
You were more powerful. You were speaking to more people at that time than Marvel Comics was selling issues of most of their books. So you needed to be destroyed. And that's what this was all about.
It's really crazy. Like, I mean, I just try to, I'm busy right now, and I see people kind of summarize it like that, and it's shocking. I was reviewing comics in my car, and I made a couple of jokes, real mild stuff, and they said, that's enough. Yeah, we're gonna do everything we can, and they're broke. I mean, these people make 40 grand in New York City, but they have good media connections. They did everything they could to destroy every part of my life that they thought they could do for saying fake geek girl.
Zack, they tried to talk to your kids. And I mean, let's not forget how far they went. They tried to reach out to your children through a means that I'm not going to reveal right now. I'm not going to talk about it. To tell them that their father was a monster. These people have no boundaries. They have no pity, no remorse. They do not function on a normal adult human level at all. They don't understand what it means to be a parent, what it means to have responsibilities, real responsibilities, to try to run a business. None of these are their concerns. And you called one of them a cum dumpster. And for that, you had to apologize. They wanted an apology out of you. They wrote articles about that. These people hate women. They're just randomly calling them cum dumpsters. Now, fortunately, Heather Antos was fired from Marvel Comics for her perfidy, the fact that she was a drama lightning rod, somebody who was distracting with her antics from important issues of selling comics. But that still haunts you. That's going to be stuck with you forever. These people do real damage. They do real damage to normal people. So explaining this to Camilla, her eyes were wide. She just said, there's so much distance between us. I wonder if we could ever heal this divide.
There
What
needs
would
to
you
be
say
more
to that?
distance.
Yeah, that's exact. I was like, the divide.
We are way too close.
I don't want there. I
Do
don't
you
want us
remember
to come
in
back
the end
together.
of A Force Awakens where the writer didn't know how to, with the Rey and the guy they were fighting, and then they're like, and then just like a big fissure just separates them. Like, the ground just separates, so they're apart from each other. Like, I guess we'll fight again some other day. Uh, we need just that to happen, but it needs to be like an entire ocean. We need so much distance from them.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not
Whereas
interested.
theirs is always to close the distance to damage us. I was like, no, I need you like 10,000 miles away, symbolically. And like you said, they make comics that nobody wants. We make comics that people want. We're not in the same business. We're in a business, they're in politics.
The entire time that we spoke, and I'm explaining this to her, I'm explaining that we're in business to make comic books that people want, and she is in business to make comic books out of vanity, out of personal politics, out of ideology. She constantly brought it back to Trump. And under no I was not there to talk about politics or Trump. She wanted to talk about why identity politics mattered. Like, hey, look, people have gone through things together because of the color of their skin and the circumstances. And I just listened to her and I let her talk.
What does
and
that
I went,
have to do with Cyberfrog?
that has nothing
Or
to
the
do with comics.
Jawbreakers?
That all might be true. I'm not going to weigh in on that because I don't talk about that stuff. That's not what I do. I'm talking about selling comic books and what you're up to and how you impede on other people's ability to sell comic books. Like Warren Ellis is no longer going to be able to sell comics. And she said, you've made $1 million. I don't even know what your complaint is. I don't even know. I have to explain all of this to you. Have to explain what I had to go through for the past, 3 years. And I'm a father. I'm a husband and a father. I have a family to provide for. I'm going to continue. Nobody is ever going to stop me from doing this. But other people could be stopped. Other people could be deterred, and that can't be tolerated. So what Comicsgate does is provide a way for everyone to do comics and not have to worry about this. Not have to worry about
the point
this.
of being stupid about it. Again, every time Brett Booth mentions that he knows that crowdfunding exists, 20 of us are just like, oh, I'll help you out. He's never helped us in any way. I don't know why we're so excited. We just are. Hey, he's a good artist. I like his art style. If he did a cool, crowdfunding, I would buy it.
I wouldn't.
It's exciting that the idea of more cool comics. Not Bloodshot coming out every 9 months because Valiant Comics has 2 weeks of cash reserves.
Yeah, I would say if I were rewriting John Lennon's famous Imagine, I would say imagine the comic book industry in which everybody has to create comics for their lives. Imagine that. Imagine if you had to, your first thought when you were creating a comic book was, I need to make as much money as I possibly can. What is it that people want? That's the world I want to live in. That's the comic book industry that I want to live in for the most part. I want people to be out there because creating prosperity trickles down. Everybody gets some of that. If you're sitting there trying to make comic books that everybody wants to buy, other people are going to do the same, and more people are going to flock to this industry and get paid and be able to make a living. I said, Camilla, my dream 3 years ago when this was all happening to me was to one day make All Caps Comics big enough that I could publish 4 comics by different creative teams. And then one day, old man Ethan would throw a company picnic, and I'd be able to see these people with their families eating fried chicken, littering. We'd be littering. And I'd know that all of this happened because of what happened to me 3 years ago. And because I stood up and was determined to continue to push forward. And All Caps Comics is now a going concern. And that is my fantasy. I don't know what your fantasy is. A world in which the streets are on fire and there's no police, and that somehow ties into what you're doing in comics. I don't understand. But she said over and over again to me, but Trump. But Trump is somebody who is throwing. She used the word. She said is throwing people in concentration camps. I said that's a lie. That's just a lie. You know, if you have that point of view, that Trump, who was not doing anything different than any former president before him, is throwing people in concentration camps, that is going to skew your entire vision of reality. Your entire worldview is going to be fucked up from there. And you might say defund the police. Absolutely ridiculous. You're in the way of people making comics with your bullshit, and you need to be stopped. Just need to be stopped. So it ended like this. I said, I am aware of what you are doing. I'm aware of what you're doing. You are now that you've been fired from Kickstarter, your plan is to go to all of these people that want to do crowdfunds, and you're going to try to make them believe that you are necessary to that end. They're going to hire you for a percentage. And she smirked at me when I said this. I said, I completely understand. You want to promote these people's comics. You want to become a female me, but you want to get paid for it. And she smirked. And I said, I'm not going to stand in your way. You do that. If people are stupid enough to hire you, they should do that. You stay out of our way. I said, we don't want to fight with you. We don't want to have anything to do with you people. We don't want to fight. We don't want to even, we just want to do what we're doing, which is to make comic books. There shouldn't be a war. We don't need to come together. There is no great divide that needs to be healed.
It needs to be increased.
Yes, go further away. Further away. So it was a strange conversation. Camilla was stunned by my forthrightness. Zach, I'll tell any bitch what I believe. I really will. I have no problem saying comics are for men.
What do you think in her head how it was going to be?
I think it was the same thing like Donnie Cates wanted to do. I think that Donnie Cates wanted to do a YouTube show and that he saw Comicsgate as in his way. We might prevent him or make it hard for him. And so therefore he was going to talk to me on a human level, a personal level, and make some kind of arrangement with me. But I am not just speaking for myself. I'm speaking for my customers. I stand in between myself and my customer base that has been abused by these people. I am not going to sell them out for anything. I will tell them straight up exactly what I think all the time, without fear. My customers have put me in a position to be able to do that. I no longer have financial worries. I can say whatever I want to say.
You've escaped J.K. Rowling escape velocity?
Well, I'm not there yet, but I hope to be someday. But look, we represent a customer base that's been disenfranchised because of this bullshit that you're seeing on social media that we were just looking at. They've left. They've left. They've been betrayed by the companies that they devoted all of their, so much of their lives, so much of their income to, so much of their attention and their passion was put into collecting.
I've literally watched people over the 3 years. And sometimes it's not really obvious if you're talking to them and just chit-chatting. They were every single week in a comic book store 3 years ago, and now they haven't been in for a year. Mm-hmm. You actually don't need comics. They're doing this thing at Marvel and DC where they don't have the budget for Scott Snyder and even Tom King and Jeff Johns, so they're like, well, we'll just have Vita Ayala and Mags and Saladin Ahmed. It's like, so that's cheaper, so we'll make money. It's like, no, everyone will just leave. We don't have to.
What's happened? They couldn't afford Warren Ellis now, even if they wanted him, and that's the way we find comics. They've got these. When you used to say, "How small do you want this industry to be?" and you used to say that on Twitter, "How small are you trying to make this industry?" The answer is microscopic. The answer is so small that it can't support anyone except for these grifters, these scam artists. These people who want to sit on Twitter and talk their faces off about politics all day long rather than making entertaining comics for fans. And that is indeed what's happened. Mark Waid is back at DC. Ron Mars, Max Visaggio, this is bargain basement budget talent. Whereas Jeff John, Grant Morrison, these people are no longer working because they know what they're worth. They know.
Oh my gosh.
What? Did I say something wrong?
Budget talent. Oh.
It is, dude. It's Kroger brand comic book writer Ron Mars. Kroger brand.
They don't have Kroger everywhere, but if you've lived in a place that has Kroger, you're like, Oh, these are
Damn.
these are Kroger writers. Oh shit. Yeah. No, it is.
Dollar General comic book scripter Max Visaggio. Dollar General brand. This is
Budget talent.
it's garbage. It's what it is. It's talent on a budget. AT&T is not spending the money to get good talent. They don't care anymore. No thanks. We'll spend our money in Hollywood to hire real writers. We're not going to hire these grifters, these con
My
artists.
favorite one was when Boom got Keanu, and then they made $1 million, and all these SJWs are like, "You only paid me $20 a page for 5 years." I go, "What the? They should have given you 10. You're an idiot." You might take $20 a page for your first gig. Oh, I've never been published before. This is amazing. I do it for free. You got to year 5? And it sounds like they stopped calling you, not you stopped accepting that page rate. Oh my gosh.
Of course. Slimer Snarf. Wow, thank you for $50. Very generous. Thank you for standing up for us and telling it like it is, Uncle E. Well, I appreciate that. This is, again, people go, why do you do YouTube? Well, because you get to kind of express yourself in a very open way like this and get paid. My God. Zach, I just got paid $50, and I got paid $50 to promote your comic, which sounds good to me.
Well, it's like an hour or two ago, somebody sent 20, and like very sincerely, you went $20.
That's a big super chat. Here's the thing that you need to understand. These are people with families and jobs and businesses who take time to support us, to watch our shows, to be a part of Comicsgate, and to give me $20 instead of buying bread and milk for their, you know what I mean? That it's substantial.
They're buying bread and milk for their families. But it's still very much appreciated.
It is very much appreciated. I don't know anyone's circumstances that super chats me. I just take it for granted that, or I just assume that it's a sacrifice, and I'm grateful for it. In the meantime, you are $14 away from $46,000.
Oh wow.
870 backers. Thank you guys for supporting Impossible Stars tonight. If you haven't backed Impossible Stars, please do so. This is Zack is going to launch this as a franchise. This is Impossible Stars #1. There will be an Impossible Stars #2.
Absolutely. I've already Chuck Dixon wrote it. It's amazing. We really worked on the ending. I was like, the first one's really good, so the ending of this second one's got to be huge. And so very excited about this franchise and being able to. Now, I'm not making it a franchise. I want it to be a franchise, but it looks like it's financially successful enough to become one. So I'm very grateful about that. Very, very exciting.
Thank you, guys. I mean, again, we understand that money is tight for a lot of you, and anybody who invest in Impossible Stars or Cyberfrog or Jawbreakers or any Comicsgate book, understand that we can't do this without you, and we appreciate you very, very much. Now, I personally listen to you. Warts and all, the Cyberfrog Warts and All campaign only exists because of you. I would not be doing this comic book or this hardcover omnibus collection if you guys didn't demand it. You said you wanted me to do it, so we're doing it.
I didn't even pay attention to that type of stuff, and I can think of dozens of times I've seen people request this.
Yeah, a lot of times. So it's got to be done, and I'm going to do it. And you guys, thanks for the anticipation. I've collected some email addresses, which are people that are motivated to back this. And so far, we are now neck and neck with Wreck Planet in terms of our email backer list. So that shows that you guys are saying, yes, thanks for making this. We are going to support it when you launch it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for supporting Wreck Planet and making me look almost as cool as Keanu Reeves. We just passed.
What's the difference? No, but you're still ahead of him, right?
Maybe for now, for another 2 or 3 days. I'll be ahead of him, but we're at 1,086,000. Thank you. We just passed over $86,000. Boy, this is awesome. This is the big time, and I very much appreciate you guys. I did update this campaign to let people know who backed Wreck Planet, all about Warts and All. They should sign up for that email list because don't miss out on the trading card. Zach, somebody got together all of my exclusive trading cards, put them on eBay. and it was like 6 trading cards, and they got $52 for them. We keep them limited. You know, I don't just hand them out. You have to do something to get them because they're valuable that way. We make them scarce, so we make them collectible. And this campaign that we're going to be doing, warts and all, is going to have
you have to buy things to get them.
Well, you don't have to buy things necessarily, but you have to be somewhere. You have to do something.
Yours sounded very Warren Ellis-ish.
In what way?
You got to do something to get a card from me.
Yes. Yeah, I'm grooming everyone, aren't I? Manipulation and grooming. So Cyberfuck 2 Wreck Planet, thanks guys. And again, this is glorious. I'm going to keep pushing this until we get it to 1.1 million. And I think we're going to get there by the end of the year. So thanks very much. Jawbreakers Grand Bazaar. This is Jawbreakers 3. Don't miss out on the chance to get Jawbreakers 2 on this campaign as well. And get ready for Jawbreakers 4, which I'm sure is right around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Next year, do you have a title that you want to spill or no?
Jawbreakers versus Jawbreakers.
That's what it's called?
Yeah.
Nice. Sounds like fun.
I'll probably just call it Versus for short, you know. But that's the official title.
Amazing. All right. Also, of course, my eBay store is open. Andrea runs this. If you want to get a copy of Blood Honey or any of the, I think we've got almost everything up from the prior campaigns. You're going to get it quickly. People backed these comics and allowed us to print them. We've got them in stock. And if you order, you'll have your copy in 2 days. If you live in the United States, you'll have your copies in 2 days. So this is pretty much immediate satisfaction. And in this case, you know, we've added some extra kind of exclusive bonuses. Rainbow Brute sticker with Cyberfrog Chromium variant. Everything's signed. This is fun. A lot of people are supporting our eBay store. Andrew and I thank you very much for that. You guys are our second family. Comicsgate, that's what it means to us. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. I'm going to read these super chats, and then Andrea is telling me, she's like, "Hey, yeah," she's like, "Wrap it up, buddy." Okay, so usually that's a good sign when she says that, Zach. You know, so let me see what's going on here. I will. Supers. Let me see super chats. Here we go. All right, so Sheepsidian, thank you for $5. She says, "Hey, Frogman, stop grooming my wallet. It's only 4 years old." That's a minor there. That's a minor. Flipping through says, "Here's my bread and milk budget, just like you asked, Uncle E. Thank you for $5. 200 beep bop boop. Wad Studio says, "Dollar store is exclusive direct market for DC. LOL." Is it? Did they? They might be doing that soon.
Well, they got that Ollie's that. It sells a lot of SJW books that were supposed hits.
Oh yeah, Ollie's was buying things for like pennies on the dollar. You can get all that stuff.
I finally went into an Ollie's, and it was disgusting.
I haven't been in one yet. I'm tempted to go in and buy some Star Wars stuff for cheap, but it looks depressing. It looks like if I went in there.
So gross. It's basically just they're reselling shit that didn't sell at other stores. So you'll literally have like giant bags of potting soil, that weird smell, and then like here's 800 Captain Marvel, you know, and I wasn't sure which one smelled like fertilizer more.
Or which one actually would act as fertilizer more too. So Russell Hall says, "Would you sell us out for a Klondike bar?" Sometimes I would. Not right now, but it depends on when you ask me. Adam Friended says, for $10, thank you, Adam. He says, "Camilla's on. Hire me. I'm delusional." And then a lot of laughing emojis. Second Street Marvel, thanks for $10. "I support Zach's projects because they're good. I've enjoyed the couple I've backed. His situation makes me feel better about the purchases. F these weirdos." That's nice. Appreciate you. Doomnatron, $2 says, "I love you, sea cow." They're telling me I look like a manatee lately, Zach. You know, that's not. Rezakai for $5 says, "I miss the days when Zach would cough into his phone to start every video in his fake spare bedroom, aka the extra closet in the New York apartment." Yeah, I'd go back and
like a glorified hallway. I finally figured out what made me cough. Now I don't cough as much. It's right after I eat.
After you eat, you cough.
Yeah, it's like reflux or something.
Let's see. Benjamin the Rogue says, I still remember when the main controversy of Zach's Dark Roast was when everyone found out Zach's terrible at roasts. Here's $5 to the good old
Oh
days.
yeah, that's another little bit of deep lore is that. So I don't think you covered this. The deal is I was just basically trying out transgressive comedy, as you say a bunch of rude things. But I said, oh, well, it's going to be invitation only. After I did like 3 videos warning, hey, I'm going to try out a different style of humor. We'll see if I'm good at it. And I was terrible at it. And everyone, that was the response. It wasn't people were offended. They're like, oh, you were trying to do transgressive humor and you were awful at it.
Yeah.
And then I did get blackmailed months later. But the thing is, if it would have been like, oh, this is my sincere thoughts, I would have done that like once a week. You know what I mean? It was a failed experiment. It was very open about that. There was, every hit piece when they were pretending to investigate, you would have found 3 videos saying invitation only. I'm trying out a different style of humor or not. And then afterwards I said, I was really bad at that style of humor. I'm not going to do it again. And then I remember like 6 months later, it was like B. Claymore. It's like, oh, we're trying to get it. It's going to be the end of him.
B. Claymore. And it hasn't been the end of you, but it's ridiculous. These people are absurd. Literature Devil says YouTube is Comicsgate country. Blue Spectre says, Zach, will you ever do JB Jawbreakers trading cards? You're gay, EVS, says Blue Spectre.
Is this all in the same message?
Yeah. He slipped in the insult at me. He wants to know about Jawbreakers trading cards.
There's 2 for Expendables. I don't remember the demand being that high for them.
I think people, if you put them out and made them collectible, the demand would grow. Renkabot says, hail to you two doing another live stream. So good. Thanks, Renkabot. Chris O'Neill, $5 says middle-aged festival. Did I say middle-aged festival? I meant Middle Ages or medieval. Like a place where 40-year-olds show you how we lived back in 1987 using rotary phones and fax machines. Yeah, I would go to that.
That actually sounds fun and funny.
Yeah. Drew, a.k.a. Mr. E, thanks for $10. Forever grateful for your laying of the groundwork for revolutionizing the indie comics industry. Captain Love Chapter 2 just launched and is live now, and I have you to thank for helping it be possible. Oh, thank you, Drew. Norenrad2 Turbo says, is the Wreck Planet preview comic close to finished? It is finished, and it's going to be shipped on Thursday. It's Thursday the 24th. I believe it's going to be shipped Thursday the 24th, and then we're shipping them to you. We did them full sized, and we did them with foil wraparound covers. So they're better than you expected, and I hope you guys like them. I can't wait to get them in my hands. Conquest Comics says, for doing the wraparound cover, good work. Well, thank you, Liam. Rockbiter says, Stan Lee was the Joe Biden of comics at the end. Taryn Childress says, Ethan, Zach, do a romance comic for manly men. It'd be called Fuck Bitches Get Money. And I think it actually would be cool. It'd be a romance comic, a love them and leave them type. Mr. Tickle Trunk for $10 says, in an alternate universe, the romance novel industry was taken over by men. It's a gutted industry, now a visual medium with explosions and sex appeal. Love, Zach. Both of you keep on heart. All right, pal. Skeetney, $5 says, have you guys tried to contact people like Grant Morrison and Alan Moore to sell comics on Indiegogo? When will Zach accept Linkara into his heart? It's a good question for you, Zach. How about you and Linkara?
I didn't understand what I was supposed to do, though.
Accept him into your heart.
I don't really know who he is. I know he has a channel.
Atop the fourth wall. He's a weirdo. And no, we're not, contacting Grant Morrison and Alan Moore to sell comics on Indiegogo. They'll either come to that conclusion on their own or they won't. But we're not really, if I were paid by Indiegogo to go out and scout for talent like Camilla Zhang apparently was for Kickstarter, I would, but I'm not. So that's not a concern of mine.
Who did she find in 2 years of doing that? Who did she outreach and bring in?
A lot of lesbians, but now
mainly. I remember a lot of lesbians, and I remember a lot of anthologies.
Yeah. Now this is interesting, Zach. Because thanks for bringing that up. Now, when you're sitting there in Kickstarter and you're getting paid, you don't really have to hustle. you're getting paid already, so you can just accept your paycheck while opening the door to a bunch of blue-haired land whales and let them do their comics. But interestingly enough, now that you're on your own and you've got your own you're starting your own little grift side business, I don't see her reaching out to these blue-haired land whales and saying, "Let me represent you. Let me sell your comics."
Great point. When she needs to stack that paper, she's like, "Scott Snyder, where you at?"
Yeah, and again, this is the other one that she introduced on Scott's own platform. Brian Stelfreeze finished new comic.
30 years. He's a master in the field.
Let me sell it for. By the way, Brian Stelfreeze could sell his own comic. He really doesn't need. Brian Stelfreeze is an incredibly charming, funny. If he had a channel, I would watch it. He's a great teacher, and he would do just fine on Indiegogo, or Kickstarter. But he is going to allow Camilla Zhang, Grifter, to take a percentage of his book to promote it for him. So that's this is the reality. Once the rubber hits the road, we're not hiring blue-haired land whales. Once we actually have to make a living because rent's due.
That's a great point.
Thank you.
When she's not getting that Kickstarter paycheck every 2 weeks, she's like, I need guns, explosions, hot chicks with big boobies. I mean, look at Noctera.
Yep.
It's a fit, traditionally beautiful woman with a gun and some body armor and stuff. It's not body diverse. Hell no, man. Great point.
Yeah, that's just look.
All
Either
of a sudden he turns into Joel Silver. Remember his movies?
Yeah. Fucking
You ever
hell.
see the old Snoop Dogg Saturday Night Live where he's a movie producer and he goes double D's, and then he starts doing the money sign.
All right, let's see. Comicsgate is my mainstream and Spawn, says the Rockbiter. Thank you. He says, I want a Zhang stream. Well, that's what you're getting. I don't think she's going to come on here. She said she's not interested in trying to convince you. She's interested in getting me to not attack her.
You think that with Donnie Cates, he's like, hey, they're making fun of my YouTube. I kind of like to do this. Let me see if he'll lay off. Even though you heard later that he was trying to take you down. And you think with her, she's like, hey, this guy's on my paper. I'm going to try and get him to chill. And it sounds like you are chill. You're basically like, look, I'm not going to go out of my way.
There's nothing in it for me. Yeah.
Like one tweet where you basically said you taught him how to mail things. And she's like, oh, shit, he's killing my deal.
Why
are you trying to hustle my flow, man? You going to tell these guys how to put stamps on things? What the hell?
Yeah, it's funny also. It's like, Donnie Cates came to me. I don't even know who Donnie Cates is. I know who Donnie Cates is because of the fact that he went after me so hard. And Donnie Cates was literally trying to destroy my business in comics. I don't know. I didn't know who he was. I never read his books. I never met him. Now I know who he is. And he comes to me wanting to we've got to find peace. We got to find some kind of, if we just connected on the human level.
You want to find peace? Stop attacking me.
Yeah, I'm not here to
Day one, solved it.
I'm motivated by one thing: selling Cyberfrog comic books. If you understand that, then you understand me. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to sell comic books and make a lot of money. I'm not trying. There's nothing political in this. I'm not trying to get Trump elected. I'm not trying to change the world. I don't have I'm not cursed with any kind of social conscience. That's not what I'm trying to do. This is my business, and I'm trying to sell comics. And if you're not in my way, and you're not saying stupid things to hurt other people who I'm trying to help, you and I will never cross paths. And that's the way I like it. That's the way I think you should like it too. Because you don't want to cross my path, because then I'm going to make videos making fun of you. And Zach, you saw the Jeremy Renner app video. I mean, devastating. Absolutely devastating.
I did not see that at all.
Oh, you didn't see it? Never mind. Who did I show it to? Oh, I showed it on my last live stream that you weren't on. All right, so I will. Listen. I'll make a funny video, mean funny, and then you'll. So it's better just to make blue beanie garden gnome EVS great again. Says Sam Spate. I never understand what people are talking about. Taryn Childress says, who in Comicsgate can fart the loudest? What kind of question is that? I assume it would be Liam. But I don't know. Might be Cecil. Max Fish says, Zach, best condiments for eating frog legs.
I don't know.
Have you ever eaten a frog leg?
I did, actually, when I was a kid. On a vacation in Florida or something, we stopped at a restaurant. I did not like it.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty awful, and the skin was like it was not chicken skin. It was pretty terrifying.
I just would not eat an amphibian. I don't think they're edible. Yetna P says, Zach, think of the SJW kind of backstabbing hate, vindictiveness, silent, impotent rage, hurting others regardless of harm to self. That's Doug to EVS. Yeah. Yashua Rodriguez says, Zach, way, shape, and form. Think about my team. What does that mean? Cecil says, regiment idea. If you fail it, you die. So only death row inmates attempt it, and very few good guys attempt it. Good guys are vastly outnumbered. Austin Kaiser says, no offense to other comic skaters, but having Zack really brings out the best from EVS. Great, hilarious stream tonight. I've actually laughed more than groaned. Oh, that's good.
No mummies.
No mummies tonight. No mummy news. Dorby says, I see what you're doing. You've yoked Camilla Zhang, and she's pulling your crowdfunding wagon in this live stream. She's finally done something for Comicsgate. Yeah, you know what? It's like Camilla Zhang offers an opportunity to teach. And, it's nothing personal. It's not like I need to abuse Camilla Zhang. It's that she said a lot of stupid things. And, when people say a lot of stupid things, especially SJWs, it gives Zach and I the opportunity to explain and use them for examples. And we couldn't wait to do that. Adam McGuire says, hey, Zach, was Jawbreakers Book 1 its own campaign? I read it in Lost Souls and really liked it, but I can't find it anywhere on the secondary market.
Oh, wow. Yeah. It was a Kickstarter. This is a floppy. It's like 28 pages, and then it was made into a chapter in Lost Souls. I've never heard of it on the secondary market. I think I fulfilled, like, it was really low. It might have been 300, but I'm still surprised none of them have popped up anywhere. I sent them out.
If they did, they'd make like $1,000. Like, those are rare.
It would be. I mean, I think I even gave them away, or I feel like I was giving them away to people when I started the channel, or like when I was sending Iron Sights out, something. I remember having a couple and then being like, oh, let's put them in there,
All right. So Cecil wants to know what Impossible Stars is a dog whistle for. Let's see here. Chris O'Neill, I read that one. That was great. Thank you for $20. Vic X says, can you imagine Cecil being 90 pounds, shilling cash grab too, after using all of his profit on Smack being all strung out and skeletal? Yes. Antoine Dennison says, Ethan, you told us numbering books was bad. What the hell? Yeah. Well, you know what? I do think it is bad in the sense that if you're saying this is Cyberfrog number 1 and this is Cyberfrog number 2 and this is, I think that's a stupid idea because the second book will always sell 60% of the first book. But if you're saying this is Star Wars Episode 8, that's very different, isn't it? 656 Comics says, well, Episode 8 actually did drop quite a bit from Episode 7. Bad example. 656 Comics says, always great to see your boy work with Renzo back in Possible Stars. By the way, Undead Border Escape or Die is at 148%. Let's get it to 200%. Hail Comicsgate. Love that. Dark Lord Mad Ruth says, just backed Impossible Stars and a bunch of extra books as perks. Today was a great day for Comicsgate. Let's see. Just a Kid from Brooklyn says, Ethan, does Camilla's email qualify as the lamentation of their women? This is what's best in life. I think it's just women trying to manipulate men. Daxamite says, life is so lame now that you can have your life destroyed by someone tattletale on you because for talking to Sweetcast. Metal Movies and Brewskis says, back Butch Cleaver on Indiegogo, a gothic, gory Western. That's Butch Cleaver. Locus Morta says, just call them socialist justice warriors. Charlie Snogans for $10 says, let the SJWs keep cancel culture. We have creation culture. We are Comicsgate. Go grab Fatal on Indiegogo.
Oh, yeah. People, I was surprised. I thought everyone knew about it. And I mentioned it in a video and people were flipping out. I guess they hadn't seen other videos where it was promoted. So yeah, I said, you've seen the art for Fatal.
Yeah, it's great.
I said it looks like Todd McFarlane mixed with Neil Adams mixed with a little bit of Mark Teixeira.
Oh, yeah, you're
And like
exactly
all
right.
of them at their primes.
You're exactly right. Taryn Childress says, they say if you stare into the abyss, it gazes back. The abyss has got to have stared a hole through SJWs. Deadwood Dale says, everyone deserves kindness. Someone with fuck the police in their Twitter name. What a see you next Tuesday. Deadwood Dale says, I just got my haircut like Zack's in the Jim Jeffries show. Already being called a Nazi from people with BLM signs in their front yards. Drew, a.k.a. Mr. E, says, thanks for blazing the trail. Captain Love, Chapter 2 campaign just launched. It's live. Thanks for being so awesome. Couldn't do this without your efforts. Thank you, Drew. Michael Bancroft says, SJWs may be evil, but they're not stupid. They know which way the wind is blowing. Bit by bit, they're losing their power, and it's glorious to watch. I agree with that. Veru Kusaki 86 says, I tried ordering Graveyard Shift 3 in the 11th hour and had problems with payment process not authorized. I'm kicking myself. I don't blame you because it's down now. The historian says, Micah Curtis said we need to cancel Racer Fist. I know. Locus Mortis says, Star Wars is just dirty rebel propaganda. Long live the Empire. Thermination 2011s said, any plans for a Cyberfrog plus Jawbreakers team up? Zach.
Yes.
Yes, there is.
It was written a while ago.
It was written a while ago. We're all trying to get ourselves together to do it. I've got the script on my desk, and I think about it every day. I can't wait to do it.
I've been thinking about it more because I'm about to draw my variant cover for Jawbreakers Grand Bazaar, and then I was going to start on it. Rough layouts, because I might have to change something to accommodate someone else, doing a costume update or something like that. But yeah, I'm going to start on it.
So it's going to be Jawbreakers, Graveyard Shift, and Cyberfrog and Salamandroid. 3-way crossover. I'm drawing it. John Malin's drawing it, and Zack is drawing it. Zack wrote the whole thing, so we're looking forward to it. A stripper approaches Brian Hitch offering a lap dance. Brian, it's potentially exciting, but I can't put in the sheer effort of maintaining an erection, says Josu Rodriguez. Pilgrim Media, snitches get stitches. Horace Cock Johnson says, Zach, don't forget Tiddlywinks. Also down in Florida, it was called Wall Ball. Duke of Dankness says, Chlamydia Zong is irrelevant. Oh, that's not nice. Russian Bot 1918 says, literally no one is stopping you. You have Indiegogo. But remember, you're not banned from Kickstarter. Yeah, I wonder if we are. Shadows King 101 says, the Dems have announced that all future voting will be held via Google Forms and straw poll. Granty's Nut says, hail OGs. Oh, I read that one. 100 Lord J. Bomba fan says 100-year-old one. The pies are no longer among the living. Sometimes I don't know what people mean, Zach, and I it's my fault, that I don't know. People, I don't know. Justice Gatticus JGAT says SJW should be rebranded as Culture Destroyers. It's all they do. Sean Tillman says, what up, B? How you like that ruthless Trump 2020 bumper sticker pic I sent you on Twitter yesterday? LOL, too funny. I appreciate you and your boy Hale Comicsgate. Sean, that was awesome. And it got you in trouble, which is even awesomer. It's funny when, you trigger SJWs. Angry Battling says, praise the Sun and Zach, glorious duo. And thank you for ruining that communist day on Twitter. Uncle E, Zach, Luna stream, please, or we riot. They're going to riot unless you stream with Luna. GMTC Podcast says, picked up Chosen by Zach, and it's amazing.
Oh, wow.
Where do you get that? Where do you get Chosen now?
Amazon.
Amazon. You can get Richard C. Myers Chosen with an I instead of an A.
Yeah.
Blue Satoshi says, Zach, is SplatoCon 2036 still on? Will it still cost an unspecified amount of HEB buddy bucks? Cecil says, when I reach 40, I need to worry about acid reflux. Cecil, shut up. You're like 50. 200 Beat Bop Boob Studio says, Zach was a dollar store Sam Kinison. What? Comic Books in Cahoots says, supporting Comicsgate is more honor than sacrifice. Yetna P says, wait, you don't have a recording? What the fuck? She will. If she wants to put out the recording, she should. I was great, But she asked me twice. She said, I do not give my consent to have this recorded. I said, I'm not recording you. And then she asked me, and I turned the camera on and I showed that the record button was not pressed. And at the end, she said, "Did you record this? Because I don't want you to have." And I said, "I don't lie. Look, it wasn't." My God, it's like you can't trust them. They're not used to, having people just be honest with them. And that the whole thing was me being honest with her. So I would not have, if she said, "Do not record me," I would not have recorded her, and I didn't record her. Sheep City says, "Hey, Frogman, stop grooming my wallet." Oh, I read that one. Okay, so I think we're all caught up with super chats. Zach, you are the best. I appreciate your being here tonight for this discussion. And let's just take one more look at Impossible Stars. 46, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, just got there. Nice.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for that. Jawbreakers Grand Bazaar is another choice. If you haven't backed Impossible Stars or Jawbreakers, you could get both of them, but Jawbreakers is a superhero story. You might want to invest in that. And also Cyberfrog Wrecked Planet did great tonight. Thank you guys. I got a couple more backers and I appreciate you. And please do consider signing up to be notified for warts and all. Doesn't cost a damn thing, but get ready to back this campaign for the complete collection of every 90s Cyberfrog in a hardcover. Understand, this is not going to contain Blood Honey or anything new, so it's not a substitute for the new stuff we're rolling out. It's just the old stuff that's out of print. We're bringing it back to print, and we're going to let you guys have it all. $30 for a nice hardcover. This is what it looks like. Look at this nice green ribbon, Zach. It should be pink like a frog tongue, don't you think?
No.
No? Okay. Green ribbon here. Beautiful volume of Cyberfrog hardcover. Every single 90s Cyberfrog book. And the base, people were like, $30. What are you, crazy? Yes. Haven't you sorted that out yet? So we're going to launch this on Sunday. So make sure to sign up. And you're going to get a 24-hour preview and a free trading card as well. Zach, thanks. Everyone in the audience, thank you. We actually hit 2,200 viewers tonight, which is not quite a record, but it's pushing it. It's a pretty good amount of people in here. 1,930 people still watching. We love you all. Every single one of you have supported our campaigns and made life better. Zach, they've improved your life, I would say.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Mine too. And so we love you guys. We're always here, listening to your suggestions. And thanks for being here tonight. Thanks for all the super chats. We'll see you again soon with another video. Have a great night.